The man cracks a joke that he thinks is harmless, but the system takes it literally on a divine level. In an instant, the massive logistical structures supporting human civilization evaporate. But when he looks again, this wasteland has become his absolute domain. What was once a catastrophic disaster is now this man's first step toward world domination. Not long ago, I was just a simple logistics sorter. My job consisted of logging sorted items or chatting with the PAX robot, unfortunately. That robot is stubborn, thinking only about packages, and completely lacking any human warmth. And there are thousands of other robots, just like him in this distribution center. It makes me regret taking this job for a second. 2 months ago, I left the army with a lot of savings, no worries about food or expenses, and an apartment with 6 months of rent paid by my parents. I was living the high life at the time, thinking I'd just work part-time in a cafe and find love. Reality gave me a brutal wake-up call. I visited countless cafes, but they all only wanted experienced employees. It was just like those recent grads looking for work. This year, I spent over a month looking for a job. Part-time, but countless rejections. Left me exhausted body and soul like a zombie every day, but perseverance pays off. My older sister recommended a delivery company to me, giving my desperate situation a glimmer of hope. And that's how I ended up here. Yet this logistics company is fully automated and employs people like Manager Shin, who abuses his position to make me do all the dirty work. This time he wants me to find some tuna, because we're out, and despite all my resentment, I just have to suck it up for this job. I quickly get to the warehouse where various items are stored, and soon I find the tuna's location when suddenly the door slams shut, leaving me completely stunned. Being trapped in an enclosed space makes me panic. I quickly pull out my phone to call Manager Shin, but the call is met with a cold, automated voice, saying the number is temporarily unavailable. It leaves me feeling helpless, but then I tell myself, at least this isn't a freezer, so I'll just wait. So I sit down and start chatting with my sisters. But as we're talking, their voices fade away looking at it. The signal is cut, and the next second the ground shakes violently. I almost dropped my personal phone. Proceed without delay to the loading dock for shelter. Employees report immediately to the loading dock to take cover. The confined space, the shaking ground, and the blaring alarm, everything gives me a bad feeling that something serious is happening. So I bang on the door for help, but no one answers. Actually, something answers, to be precise. An unknown creature is pounding on the other side of the door. The solid door is bending inward. Terrifying roars echo every now and then. In that moment, I realize I can't make another sound. Otherwise, there's only one way out: death. The creature outside isn't human. It's a terrifying monster. I spend 3 days in the warehouse. Just like that, fortunately. There's no lack of food, canned goods for meals, bottled water for thirst. The monster outside disappears, but no one comes to rescue me, either. I don't know if it's war or what, but being trapped here actually saved my life. I don't know how much longer I can hold out. My phone is going to die anyway. I should at least leave a note. With that thought, I start typing on my phone when suddenly a mechanical voice echoes inside me and a window appears before my eyes. You have been selected. Please confirm your awakened ability. This leaves me stunned. What the hell is this? Before I can think, the pop-up suddenly changes. It's clear that my ability seems to be storing objects in a subspace in front of me. This is ridiculous. I must be going crazy if I can really store everything. Then let's store the whole PAX distribution center. As soon as the words leave my mouth, there's a loud boom. The surrounding buildings vanish, leaving me standing alone in shock. What's going on? I'm outside. But why is everything in ruins out here? Ding, that cold voice reappears. Starting storage. The next second, my stomach twists violently. It feels like something is being uploaded into my brain. After a long time, I'm slowly adjusting when suddenly a massive shadow appears beside me. That's definitely not a human shadow at that moment. Only one word: run. A second later, I bolt, screaming for help at the top of my lungs. The monster is clearly enraged by this. It catches up to me in just 2 strides. I think to myself, what the hell is this thing? And why is it so fast? But just at the moment where the orc was about to grab me, a door suddenly appears in front of me. When I open my eyes, this door has separated me from the orc. I wonder if it can't get through. Then Pax by my side replies, correct. Without the permission of the subspace owner Yongyam, no living being, object, or energy can enter or exit this place. Isn't that right, Pax? I start looking around to verify my doubts. I turn around and indeed, I see the familiar warehouse and mountains of supplies. That pop-up didn't lie. It really stored the entire distribution center. Pax, congratulations on your first entry into the subspace. You have received a magic stone. As the voice fades, a glowing stone appears before my eyes. Then, the pop-up continues, explaining the current status of the distribution center. Pax has a total area of over 10,000 square meters, shipping speed, 60 kilometers per hour. Size limit, 2 meters, remaining operational time 2 minutes. I'm surprised. How do I increase this time? Pax replies. You can use the magic stones you possess to power the subspace facilities. One magic stone allows the subspace to operate for 24 hours. I see. So that's what magic stones are for. So Pax, how do I get more magic stones? You obtain stones by eliminating beings from other worlds. Beings from other worlds. That must be that thing outside. Oh well, let's gear up first. It'd be a shame if all this food went to waste. So I hand the only magic stone I have to Pax. In a second, the power is restored. Now I'm gathering weapons to face the orc. But inventory is limited. I should use them sparingly, since stock is finite. With that, pull out a small hatchet arm and throw it. But it doesn't do much damage, just a nick on the skin. I start panicking at this rate. I won't be able to kill it even if I throw everything I have. There's only one hatchet left in the box. The stock should have had 2 more. Pax, how many hatchets are left in stock? Pax answers without hesitation. 15 remaining. This confuses me. I even think the machine has a glitch, because the first batch of hatchets I took was 15. Refusing to believe it, I go back to check, and after looking, there really are 15 hatchets. Pax explains the objects here are generated from real objects converted into data, so they can be reproduced even if damaged or deformed. They will never run out. Hearing this, I suddenly understand. In other words, it's a warehouse with infinite stock. That means I can chuck hatchets without a second thought, but throwing like that will pop my shoulder out of its socket. Pax says, you don't need to throw them yourself. You can have objects delivered automatically from the subspace. However, delivery is limited to once every 30 seconds. Upgrading. Skills can reduce the shipping time. Well, that makes things easy. Let's test it out. Ship. Almost as soon as I speak, a hatchet slams into the orc's head. This move really impresses me. Wait, what speed? How is it so fast? Pax explains. The current delivery speed is set at 60 kilometers per hour. You can adjust it at the current level. The speed reaches 75 kilometers per hour. That really shocks me. But with this navigation skill, my safety is guaranteed. Next, I put on my military gear, tactical boots, tactical pants, everything is set. Once all preparations are finished, I unfold the map and start planning the route. First toward Gangnam District, then Jeojeodo District, Bong, and finally to Ujeongbu, where my parents are. It's the shortest route I can map out, and my vehicle is just a sturdy bike, but it's not bad, better than nothing. After the prep, I head out immediately hoping everyone is safe. 30 minutes later, I've cycled about 1.5 miles. During that time, I've already hunted 12 orcs, and during this hunt I realized 2 things. The first thing is understanding my ability. Before, I was probably too worked up to even notice. But as I calm down and study it carefully, I realize my ability is like having cheat codes enabled. Although the accuracy is sometimes low, there is a cooldown and a 10-meter range limit. But as long as I harvest magic stones to upgrade it, these issues can be fixed. Furthermore, Pax's capabilities aren't just limited to shipping. It also has an auto-retrieval function for sent items. This function is just as convenient as the shipping, even though ordinary objects, like hatchets, don't really need to be retrieved. Oh, and I'm not sure how. But Pax's skill can actually harvest magic stones. In any case, it's extremely handy. For me, at least. I don't have to butcher the orcs myself. As for the other thing, it's that the monsters in this world, besides orcs, include many extraordinary creatures, like that wyvern in the sky, snatching a water deer. Definitely not something to mess with. Well, deafening screams for help echo in the distance. As a former soldier, I can't just ignore that, so I gun it on my sturdy bike. Then a hatchet sends the wyvern straight to hell. Both of them are stunned by such a cracked move, a hatchet with that much power. He immediately bows to thank me. Thank you so much, soldier. Seeing their mistake, I point to the logo on my clothes to show I'm not in the military. But from their expressions, they seem convinced I'm a soldier. Whatever I ask them, why they're here, the man doesn't hide a thing. You probably know that Building C might have been a logistics center. A lot of people gathered here, but it also attracted a lot of monsters. So quite a few people died. Some died in attacks. Others were eaten by monsters, about 15 or 16. People have died. The survivors are trapped underground in a freight station, where there are fewer monsters. We originally came from there. We wanted to find a usable route and some supplies. But the command center suddenly vanished. By the way, do you want to come with us? Nothing else is guaranteed, but at least you'll sleep soundly. After that, I'm honestly hesitant. In an apocalypse, I can't trust anyone, especially not strangers. But he mentioned a usable route, and there might be some vehicles too. I'm not short on food or a roof over my head, but I need information and transport. So I accept their request. Besides, even if they turn hostile, I can just escape into the subspace. It probably won't be too dangerous. We're approaching their shelter, but the man in front of me gives me the chills. Why this sense of danger? Who are you? I've never seen you. Old Man Choi rushes to introduce me. He saved our lives. He says he worked at the PAX distribution center, but he's seriously strong. He took down the wyvern with just a hatchet. At that, everyone starts buzzing mostly about my abilities. But there doesn't seem to be the malice I expected. On the contrary, they're very warm, as if they're truly grateful. It leaves me stunned for a moment. Were the movies all lies, or has the apocalypse just begun? And people aren't wary yet. Still surprised. Since we've worked together for over 10 years, Yongsoo and Byung-chul are like family to us. By the way, I haven't had a chance to introduce myself. I'm Jin Mok, director of Daehyun Express. Thank you so much for saving Yongsoo and Byung-chul. They bow low. This really catches me off guard. Hello, I'm Jong Yong. After the introductions, Jin Mok shows me around and gives me a lot of info. Currently, all the routes above are blocked. A gulf to the east, containers to the south, and a road collapse. The only way out is the tunnel to the west, but it's occupied by a swarm of wyverns. But don't worry about food and water. We've stocked up on plenty. If it's not enough, we can get more from the logistics center. Just as he finishes, Yongsoo chimes in hesitantly, "Manager, that logistics center seems to have vanished without a trace." Everyone's face drops instantly. The entire logistics center is gone. Is that even possible? Byung-chul adds. It's because the distribution center disappeared that the wyvern attacked us. That statement makes me feel a little guilty. As anxiety builds, Jin Mok steps forward. Everyone don't lose heart. Let's clear the tunnel as planned, even ahead of schedule. After all, staying here will only make things worse. I don't overreact to the unexpected. It's pretty useless to show them my abilities even if everyone is being friendly. One thing is undeniable. They said they had food and water stockpiled, but not the exact amount. So when the food runs out, they'll turn on each other. If needed, I should investigate alone. After thinking it over, I tell Jin Mok I want to explore by myself. Jin Mok understands that I don't want to reveal my gift. He agrees, but Yongsoo, worried about my safety, joins me at the start. I was skeptical, but Yongsoo's awakened driving is just too cracked. Even on a heavy bike, he rips through the wind. If any wyverns show up, I'll handle it. We reach our destination fast, but the vibe around us is weird. Looking closer, we're surrounded by a flock of wyverns. Seeing this, Yongsoo thinks we're screwed even with the bike. So what I, on the other hand, calmly open the system panel and consume 10 magic stones to reduce the cooldown of my summons. Yongsoo is confused by what I'm doing, but before he can think too much, the wyverns fly straight at us. But in the next second, several axes strike the wyverns' heads with precision. When Yongsoo opens his eyes again, the scene before him leaves him speechless. It wasn't that the wyvern attacks failed, but because of the entire distribution center standing behind me. After witnessing my power, the surviving wyverns all flee in a panic. After a long silence, Yongsoo slowly stands up. Your ability is way too OP. Pax can hurl axes like bullets. With power like that, you could clear the tunnel all by yourself. I glance at Yongsoo. You hit the nail on the head. My plan was to scout first, and if it was safe, try to clear the tunnel in secret. I never intended to show you my abilities like this. Even Yongsoo realizes he got in my way. He bows apologetically. It makes me feel awkward, so I change the subject and get ready to move. Watching me walk away, Yongsoo seems to be pondering something. After a long while, he asks me where I'm headed next. I don't hide it and answer honestly. Yes, Jong Yong. That gives Yongsoo an idea. He speaks slowly. I need to go to Indiogwan. If you're heading to Gangnam, it's on your way. Would you mind if I tagged along with you to Indiogwan? I'm pretty floored to hear that. This is actually a great idea. Yongsoo's driving is top tier. But more importantly, I can use him to hide my gift from everyone else. If word about my gift gets out, who knows what they'd do even. If I'm overthinking it in the worst-case scenario, my personal safety could be at risk. I've seen Yongsoo's character on the road. He's reliable. All right, I'll let you drive me to Indeogwan. But I have to clear the tunnel alone. Others would only get in my way, and I don't want my ability revealed. Hearing this, Yongsoo doesn't hesitate. He agrees immediately to help hide my ability and to convince the team. Shortly after, Yongsoo speaks passionately to everyone. Jong Yong will use his ability to clear the tunnel alone. We just need to wait outside. I know you're curious, but don't ask too many questions. This move really throws me off. Wasn't this supposed to stay secret? Why did he reveal it to everyone? I'm screwed. These are people I should be wary of. Yet his words aren't very convincing. But since I'm already here, I'm going all in tomorrow morning. I'll clear the tunnel for a smooth passage. Upon hearing that, everyone starts buzzing again, which makes me very nervous. What if they have bad intentions? While I'm brooding, Jin Mok interrupts me. Jong Yong, I won't ask questions about your abilities. Nor will I be curious about them after all you made this decision with us in mind. If not interfering helps you, then we'll wait patiently outside tomorrow. Please take this food. It's a token of our gratitude. Seeing this, I'm stunned. They're giving away food this rare, just like that. Plus, they're all bowing to thank me. In that moment, I know I was wrong, completely wrong. They're just like me. Everyone is just thinking about finding their families. I only had such a weird view of them because of the movies. It would be a shame not to celebrate their escape tomorrow and their reunion with their families. Everyone is partying that night, but as they drink, they get drunk and start pouring their hearts out about how much they miss their families. I'm also moved by this scene, or maybe it's just my previous guilt. I prepare provisions for 15 vehicles for them to ensure a stable life in this apocalypse. The next day, I take a small hatchet and my mountain bike to head into the tunnel. Everyone watches my silhouette fade away with concern. Me, face set and eyes locked forward. I've barely entered the tunnel when several wyverns appear waiting in formation. I don't panic at all. I enter the subspace and eliminate them one by one. I'd actually like to use it to get everyone out through the tunnel, but PAX indicates that the current level cannot transport other people. At level 2, it can hold 20 people, but the subspace upgrade requires 100 magic stones, and there are about 40 wyverns in this tunnel, not counting the ones that got away. I'm going to have to make do. Outside, after eliminating the remaining wyverns, I slowly ride out on my bike. My body is covered in blood splatters. Everyone is extremely tense, but this blood is from the wyverns. It has nothing to do with me. My safe return means all the wyverns are gone. Now everyone can go back home to their families. At that moment, I suddenly say, by the way, if you run into any danger on the way back, open up the trunk and take a look. I've prepared a few little gifts. After that, I leave with Yongsu for the Gangnam district. After riding for a while, corpses of monsters and soldiers start appearing on the road. It makes me breathe a sigh of relief that I was discharged early. Otherwise, I probably would have shared the same fate. Riding a little further, a barricade blocks our path. It must have been set up by the army to hold back the monsters, but clearly they didn't succeed. A pack of monsters appears at the end of the bridge. They look terrifying, most likely speed-type monsters. As Yongsu gets ready to turn around and find another route, an idea hits me, the perfect solution. It's to use the 3 crosswalks to bottleneck their movement. Then I use my French door fridge for suppressive fire, basically. A massive fridge can take out a lot of them. I just have to wait right here for the cooldown. I gotta say, this reminds me of those tower defense games. And Yongsu is floored by what he sees in the rearview mirror. What's going on? Is he throwing refrigerators? So it's not just axes. And he keeps throwing the exact same model of fridge. Is he a logistics center? But do they even have that much stock of the same item? Even if he retrieves them, every single one he throws is a brand new refrigerator. How is this possible? If I'm not mistaken, Zhang Yang must have an infinite inventory. You're pretty curious, huh? You didn't know that before. Yongsu already had an answer in his head, but hearing me say it leaves him speechless and in total shock. After a long silence, he pulls himself together. Man, you have such an OP power, and I made such a big deal about giving you food earlier. I give a faint smile. Actually, I'm really grateful that everyone agreed to trust me. If you need anything at all, just let me know. Yongsu shakes his head, indicating he doesn't need anything for now. What he wants most is to get home and see his family. I tell him straight up, Yongsu, are you sure you want to see your family looking like that? Yongsu gives a helpless smile when he hears that. Yeah, I guess you're right. 5 minutes later, he reappears dressed with style. After changing, his whole vibe is different. With some very flashy maneuvers, the truck speeds like a lightning bolt, almost making me fall off. 20 minutes later, we finally reach our destination. If this area looks so run down, it's probably because it was already old. With the monster attacks, it looks even more like a ruin. But on the way here, there don't seem to be any corpses. Maybe there are fewer monsters here. Yongsu's family is probably okay, but there's always a risk. Yongsu's hand reaching for the door trembles. He's unable to open it. I see his anxiety, so I offer to ring the doorbell. Yongsu knows he doesn't have the guts, so he can only nod. Just as I was about to ring it, the door opens on its own. A woman and a child step out. It looks like they're Yongsu's wife and daughter. The moment they see each other, they hug and cry tears of joy. Watching the scene, I'm really happy for them. But my eyelids feel heavy. The next second, my consciousness fades, and I hit the ground. No, I can't sleep here, but I'm just completely spent. In my dream, I think I'm seeing flashes of the past. Dad once told me that saying goodbye doesn't just leave you with sadness. It brings back all kinds of emotions shared with them. Regret, gratitude, guilt, longing, and more. So don't be sad when I go. For Dad, more than sadness, it's gratitude. Because your grandmother taught me the essence of love. Loving someone without expecting anything in return. It's probably hard to understand right now, but when you grow up, you'll know that giving or receiving love is never simple. As I grew older, I understood. But was that way of giving love a bit flawed? Especially when it came to my second sister. She straight up used me as a punching bag. But even a sister like that, she's pretty great. That year I tried to protect a classmate, and ended up getting thrashed along with him. It was my second sister, who showed up just in time to save me. After that, it felt like I was being targeted by a demon. Every day was either training or the commute to get there. But I also earned my military service qualification because of it, even though I went reluctantly. The dream ends there, and I wake up suddenly. The unfamiliar surroundings make me very uneasy. I quickly pull a small hatchet from my subspace. But when I turn around, I only see a mother and her daughter eating, looking totally innocent. This is awkward. I quickly put the hatchet away and ask how long I've been out. The woman holds up 3 fingers. Not long, just about 3 hours. After that, she bows to thank me. It's embarrassing. I wave her off, telling her she doesn't need to be. She's so polite. Just then, Yongsu wakes up too. The woman clears the table and prepares us a meal. A few minutes later, a steaming bowl of braised suri fish appears, right in front of me. My mouth is watering uncontrollably. Since my release, this is the first time I've seen a dish look so appetizing, just one bite. And I'm in heaven. It is a total flavor bomb. That rich aroma unique to suri with a little kick of heat. It tastes like home. After the meal, Yongsu brings up the topic. Jong Johan, you said you were going to Gangnam. Right, let me take you there. I'm stunned. He just reunited with his family. Why would he keep helping me? Then we step outside to talk it over. To be honest, I really want to drive this truck to Gangnam, and once we're there, just give me an e-bike to get back. I don't quite get this request. Sure, with his driving skills, he could lose the monsters. But no matter how good he is, it's dangerous everywhere out there. Besides, he has food and supplies now, and he's back with his family. Logically, there's no need to take more risks. Instead of overthinking it, I just ask him why. Do I need a reason? You helped me and even saved me. If you hadn't, I would have never seen my family again. I could have died before I even reached the tunnel. So I just want to help you as much as I can. Even if you've awakened great abilities, you're not invincible. Right? You collapsed today after all. So isn't it good to look out for each other? I can't say I'm doing much, but don't worry too much. If things get hairy, I'll bolt immediately. After all, I'm not stupid enough to risk my life or leave my family behind. Sighs, Yongsu, you're such a stand-up guy. If you want to help, I have some conditions. First, you have to drive me to Uijeongbu until I reunite with my family. Second, you can't come alone. Once I upgrade my subspace, others can enter. So if you really come with me, you have to bring your family. Since you're helping me save mine, I have to protect yours too, right? Dongyong, let's head out right now. It's time to upgrade the subspace. Subspace upgraded to level 2. Capacity expanded to 20 people. Can now store visible objects. Authorized Oh Ji-soo, Lee Yu-gyung, and Lee Yong-soo to enter the space. I smile calmly. I grant permission with my authorization. Yong-soo's family of 3 enters the subspace. As soon as they enter, gasps of wonder fill the air. They knew the fulfillment center was massive, but seeing it with their own eyes takes their breath away. Who would have thought such a vast space could exist behind a simple door? I tell them to get some rest. If they need anything at all, they just have to ask Tapax. We leave in 30 minutes. They don't push it and thank me again. All right, it's time to properly examine my abilities. As it should, my subspace power allows me to store visible objects at will with free entry and exit. Without my permission, nothing can get in. Maybe this was my original power. After storing the logistics center in the subspace and combining PAX with the Awakening System's operational framework, my ability evolved from simple subspace opening and closing. It has become multifaceted. The most notable is this delivery skill, which is insanely fast. I thought the subspace upgrade wouldn't bring any new functions. But what is this skill exactly? Can I store things other than the PAX fulfillment center in the subspace? Not only that, there is now a laboratory that can combine, categorize, or transform objects registered in the subspace. I'd like to test this skill, but alas, I don't have enough magic stones to unlock it. For now, I can only confirm the storage one. The first time I put PAX in the subspace, it was accidental. But if you ask me what I really desire, what I want to store the most, it's the Earth itself. I know it's a huge gamble, but if it works, it would solve everything. After a long pause, the system voice finally responds, Earth storage failed. Object exceeds storage capacity. It's not that surprising. If I could actually store the Earth, it would be ridiculously broken. At that moment, Yongsu gathers everyone as planned. We discuss the route together. I trust Yongsu's skills completely, so I leave the itinerary to him. But I can't shake this bad feeling, like something terrible is about to happen. It makes me subconsciously glance at Yongsu, who wears a mysterious smile. Don't worry, even if I can only help by driving at least, I won't lose to anyone when it comes to speed. On that note, he suddenly guns it and tears off. After a while, we reach the only road leading into the city, but there's a roadblock and it's military grade. Yongsu asks, puzzled, a military unit? Is one nearby? My expression shifts as I check the rearview mirror. No, looks like we were wrong. The vehicles and weapons are military, but the people might not be. To be safe, I pull Yongsu into the subspace. I choose to stay and face them alone. Things go exactly as I expected. They aren't soldiers. They're bandits dressed as soldiers. Without a word, one knocks me out with a single punch. Then they bag my head and take me somewhere. When I open my eyes, I find myself in an unfamiliar office. Besides two bandits, a wounded soldier lies on the floor, barely alive. Their leader informs me that this is the Military Communications Command. No orcs or monsters here, but countless wyverns that hunt at regular intervals. Among these wyverns, one is several times larger than the others. A brilliant idea strikes me. Maybe this storage opportunity would be perfect, right here. No sooner said than done. An instant later, the entire Military Communications Command vanishes, leaving everyone exposed outside. The result is obvious. What awaits them is the wyvern's judgment. I take the chance to grab the soldier and hide in the subspace. Inside the subspace, Jung-soo, and I quickly move the patient onto a bed. Judging by his condition, he's been tortured and is severely malnourished. That's why he's unconscious. Some nutritious food should help. It's time to check out the Military Communications Center that I scouted. I had no idea until I saw it with my own eyes. The entire command center is so massive. I was blindfolded, so I didn't realize it was this huge. A base of this size must be packed with tons of weapons and ammo. But unlike the distribution center, using it at the processing center will be tricky. PAX automatically prepares items and books through the delivery system, but this isn't the processing center, so I'll have to manually fetch everything I need and remember all the locations. It's getting complicated. It's even bigger than PAX. More importantly, these military supplies aren't usable, infinitely like they are at the processing center. Just as I say that, PAX interrupts me, explaining that he manages the entire subspace. So the command center works like a warehouse. That surprises me. This means ammo and weapons can be duplicated infinitely. That's insane power. With infinite ammo and weapons, everything just got a whole lot easier. I just have to unleash heavy firepower on the wyverns outside. Then shots ring out, echoing through the sky. Outside looks like it's being devoured by a massive wall of fire. After a moment, all the wyverns lie defeated. But I feel an inexplicable sense of dread, so we decide to send a wolf to investigate. As soon as the wolf goes out, a massive dragon claw skewers it, and then its terrifying face is revealed. It's that larger wyvern. Realizing it's been tricked, the wyvern lets out a roar that shakes the heavens. I order Yongsu to open fire immediately. This monster is no ordinary threat. Instantly, another burst of fire erupts. Under such an intense assault, smoke fills the area, but as they say, where there's smoke, there's no damage. The wyvern is completely unharmed. Guns aren't working. Let's try grenades. Grenades rain down on the wyvern like a storm. I thought with its thick hide, it wouldn't be able to withstand such a bombardment. I was wrong. This wyvern doesn't just have thick skin, a barrier blocks all attacks. Luckily, the wyvern is smart. Seeing that it can't reach us, it wisely turns around and leaves. Watching it fly away, I let out a sigh of relief. If that had dragged on, we wouldn't have made it. After a short rest, we travel light and continue in a military pickup truck. To avoid running into that again, I decide to use some magic stones to upgrade my skills. What I see next really blows my mind. My count of magic stones has skyrocketed to 314. Wait, what? When did I even get these? Did that wyvern have a ton of magic stones on it? Whatever, first let's buff my abilities with these. I'm maxing out my delivery skill right now. I can now deliver 4 items per second, and the range has expanded from 25 to 50 meters after the upgrade. I still have 189 stones left. I've got plenty to spare. It's time to unlock the subspace laboratory. After unlocking it, I head into the subspace to check out the manual. PAX gives me a quick rundown. This lab can modify anything, like doubling a magazine's capacity. After PAX's explanation, a killer idea suddenly pops into my head. Something more powerful than bombs, but without the collateral damage. Meanwhile, Yongsu is dealing with a problem. Outside, the road is blocked again. This time it's not a barricade, but a massive pileup of cars it doesn't look easy to clear. So, Yongsu quickly calls me over to see if we can find a fix. At the sight of it, I just smile calmly. Perfect. Timing. The weapon I just developed will come in handy here. PAX launches a mysterious object. It instantly obliterates the entire car pileup. That's right. I created a kinetic cannon made of countless, used 20-kilo dumbbells. This move is absolutely mind-blowing to the guards. Before they can even react, our vehicle drifts with precision and screeches to a halt, right in front of them. Hello, nurse. Julian Kim is here. Julian Kim is my older sister. She wanted to be a nurse. When my brother and I heard she was going to study hard for it, we didn't buy it. We even called Mom, worried about her. but Julian happily said she'd found her dream. Did that even make sense? A woman who could barely sit still for 30 minutes suddenly acting like this. But the results proved she wasn't just talking big. She actually walked the walk. Finally, she earned her spot in nursing school fair and square. After that, I enlisted in the army and never saw her again. After years of being apart and these months of pure tension, I can't hold it back anymore. The tears just start falling. We hug and cry for joy. After a while, we pull ourselves together, and I introduce Yongsu. After the intros, she wants to go find something to eat, but I stop her for now. Treating a patient is the priority. As soon as she hears the word patient, Julianne immediately lights up. I tell her to chill and find a quiet spot first. She gets it completely and sneaks us in. Seeing that it's safe, I open the entrance to the subspace. Julianne looks just as shocked as Yongsu's family did, but there's no time to be amazed. The priority is treating the soldier after Julianne's exam based on her past experience. This patient would have been a goner. However, she successfully awakened, and her ability is that of an extremely rare healer class. But the patient's condition has been bad for way too long. Even she can only provide basic treatment, but at least she can save his life. After the treatment, I tell Julianne everything that's happened over the last few months, but she doesn't seem to be listening. Her gaze is fixed solely on her craving for food. Whether she listens or not doesn't even matter anymore. I've already found Julianne. Next, I just need to go to Uljiro in the Dobong district to find my other sister. But as soon as I finish talking, she rejects my suggestion. This catches me off guard. Are there too many patients? Not exactly, she replies. There are a lot of patients, but enough nurses. The main issue is that the director of internal medicine has developed a mind control ability. If I leave, no one will be able to resist him, and the hospital will fall into total chaos. So Jingu, go find the others first. I'll do my best to survive here. I flat out refuse her idea and tell her I'll handle everything right away. I immediately spot the dangerous person. Julianne mentioned the one controlled by director Song Yong-yu. You're the nurse's brother. Julianne Kim, right? Let's talk outside. Seeing his massive build, I can't help but shiver. But a confrontation between us is inevitable, so I follow him out. Song Yong-yu gives me two choices. 1, drink this potion, and be the director's puppet. 2, refuse the potion and get beaten to death. Right here. Of course, I'm not picking one or the other. I'm taking option 3, trapping you right here. At those words, Song Hyung-ju's expression shifts drastically, and he instantly charges at me. But my subspace barrier blocks him. What follows is a pro bowling ball, spinning and launched at 90 kilometers per hour. To my surprise, this guy takes the hit without flinching, right? Then I switch tactics and use weights to pin him down. But this guy's strength is seriously terrifying. He's lifting tons, but I won't let him counter. I activate my recall skill to pull everything back. Then I drop the weights to trap him again. After that, I head back to the hospital to settle the score. But Yongsu comes stumbling in. It looks like he's been poisoned. Julianne immediately spots bloodstains on Yongsu's hand. Someone did this on purpose. No time to worry. I quickly get Yongsu to rest inside the subspace. The moment Yongsu enters the system alerts unknown energy. Attempting to track target into subspace has been blocked. At the same time, Yongsu says his head doesn't hurt anymore. It all makes sense now. So that, was it the unknown energy? This simplifies things. I find Song Hyung-ju immediately and pull him into the subspace. Just as I expected. The moment Song Hyung-ju enters, he snaps out of it. Then we take him to see his mother. After the visit, he heads straight for the director's office. The result is obvious. The director was killed instantly. Everyone who was being controlled finally comes to. At first, I wonder how they recovered so suddenly, but when I see Song Hyung-ju covered in blood, I get the whole picture. When he sees me, Song Hyung-ju takes a deep bow out of respect. After thanking me, he asks me to stay, but I politely decline. After all, I haven't found my family yet. Hearing this, Song Hyung-ju can only wish me a speedy reunion with my folks. The next day, I leave a ton of supplies for everyone at the hospital. I trust Song Hyung-ju to protect them. With that done, we leave the hospital and keep moving to find my family. Before we head out, Song Hyung-ju gives me some intel on the area between Uljiro and Namsan. A massive wall has appeared. The wall suddenly emerged from the ground and keeps getting taller. It's probably taller than the buildings by now. Now this is giving me a real headache. If that's the case, trying to go through the floor seems unrealistic. External force likely won't work either. Besides Song, Hyun-ju provides another piece of intel. The most common monsters in Uljiro are skeletons, also known as the undead. This gives me an even bigger headache. Invincible monsters, and a massive wall. Uljiro is a dangerous place. Even though my other sister is in Uljiro, I'm not worried at all. Even without awakening, she could probably crush monsters with her bare hands. Suddenly, A system message pops up. It seems to be coming from Julianne. So I open the subspace door and ask what's going on. What else? The soldier you saved has woken up. That caught me off guard. I quickly entered the subspace to check on him. The soldier bows deeply in gratitude. Thank you so much for saving me. I'm Lieutenant Colonel An, GMO from the 5th Signal Intelligence Battalion, Military Communications Command. Can you tell me where we are? I thought I saw the command post here. Facing a soldier who protects the country, I hide nothing. This is the staff lounge of the PAX Fulfillment Center. This subspace is part of my powers. Anjimo looks completely baffled, not understanding a word I'm saying. So Julianne briefly summarizes my explanation. This whole space is created by his power. Our current location is Gangnam. I see, after those explanations, Anjimo grasps the situation. Can you leave me here? Alone, I must quickly go to HQ to report or the worst will happen. I totally get it. After all, I served in the army before. But I won't let you go that easily. Finish eating this first. Before explaining the situation, Anjimo, as a soldier, has the mindset of never revealing secrets, deeply ingrained, unless he meets someone, like me, capable of producing tons of delicious dishes. One day, throughout the entire world, things from another realm suddenly appeared. Those otherworldly things weren't just monsters, but also insects, plants, animals, and even geographical features like mountains. These otherworldly life forms attacked everything they saw, not just humans and animals, but they fought each other too. To fight the monsters, we started recruiting awakened ones and training them into new military units. The awakened units quickly wiped out the monsters. My base and the city is near Gwacheon, and Anyang seemed to be heading back to normal, but then problems arose after that creature arrived. Bullets, grenades, artillery shells. Nothing worked on that dragon. We requested help from command, military comms, and surrounding forces multiple times. But Gwacheon and Anyang were almost overrun by powerful monsters, just like us, and we got zero response from command. I found it strange we could reach Anyang and Gwacheon, who were fighting off monsters, but we couldn't get through to the signal command. Finally, we had no choice but to order a retreat and investigate it ourselves. But with monsters relentlessly pursuing us, many comrades were killed or wounded. So while on the move, we recruited awakened ones to fight back together. That's how we reached the Military Communications Command, but it was completely empty. We soon found out why after examining many documents. We discovered that a rebellion was being plotted. I tried to return to the Joint Chiefs of Staff HQ, but I was cornered by the dragon that was chasing us. Even worse, the recruited awakened ones took advantage to kill soldiers and took over the command. The First Corps is likely hindering recruitment. The Military Communications Commander has defected. I need to get back and report this immediately. After hearing Angamo's story, I understand the situation. I promise him I'll definitely get it back. Seo Yongsu, and I leave quickly to see if we can make it by the end of the day. On the way, we run into a lot of orcs, but I take care of them easily. This makes Hangum Ho realize that my strength is considerable. Plus, Yongsu is at the wheel. He drives us from Gangnam to Banpo Bridge. In just an hour, they see we're very powerful awakeners, hoping they'll join our ranks after more than 10 minutes. We successfully deliver Han Geum-ho to his destination. Before leaving Han, Jum-ho hopefully asks if we want to join their army. He offers generous rewards, mana stones, and military support. Even though the rewards are generous, I still refuse. After all, I just want to find my family, and we can get mana stones ourselves. But the Joint Chiefs HQ should have a helicopter or two. No, Han Geum-ho is puzzled, but HQ definitely has one or two. So Han Geum-ho goes to negotiate with the commander. He explains not only the First Corps rebellion, but also our abilities, which makes the negotiation easier. The commander immediately offers to let me join the army in exchange for a helicopter. I shake my head firmly. What if brute force could break this wall? After refusing, I say goodbye to everyone and get ready to leave. That panics the commander and An. That wasn't their intention. They really need my help. This time he softened his tone and made a new offer. If you succeed, we'll lend you the chopper, the mission, wipe out the skeletons and rescue the besieged Awakener base. This mission would be hard for others given the massive number of skeletons, and they can revive if their hearts are intact. But for me, it's easy. Dumbbells, weighing thousands of pounds, smash the skeletons on impact. So the trapped Awakeners are saved, and the mission is complete. But on the way back, we encounter another skeleton. Unlike the other skeletons, this one has a unique presence. He wears exquisite armor like a knight. Then the skeleton knight crushes a mana stone and says slowly, "Pleased to meet you, stranger from another world. I am Gavin, one of the 12 knights of the Naked King." This sudden voice startles me. I didn't expect mana stones to have such a function, but I don't want to talk. I directly hurl several fused dumbbells, but attacks of this level have no effect on Gavin. With one swing of his sword, he cuts them all down and then charges straight at us. That move totally floors us. There's no time to hesitate. I have to play my trump card early. That's right, my ace in the hole is the tracking skill, which can pinpoint and strike marked locations. But the dumbbells don't seem to work on Gavin, as powerful as they are. They're just too clunky. So I make a quick call to switch up the projectiles, using bowling balls. They're smaller and better for targeted delivery. Just like I thought, those fast bowling balls are hard for Gavin to parry. Soon he's begging for mercy, but why listen to a monster? I hurl my fused dumbbells. Gavin can't hold them off and can only watch as he gets smashed to bits. In his final moments, he flashes a sinister grin. Hey, you are strong, but don't think this is the end. We are immortal. Everything is for the Night King. After those words, Gavin vanishes completely, turning into one red mana stone and two larger blue mana stone fragments. I learn that the red one is an enhancement stone, and the blue ones are large mana stone fragments. I'm not sure what they do yet, but I'll look into it later. As for what happened next, of course, we celebrated with cheers of victory. After a while, we head back to HQ. The commander still wants us to join them, and I keep saying the same thing. Only after I find my family, seeing my determination, the commander drops it. Instead, he takes me upstairs to keep his promise. Shortly after, a beat-up helicopter appears before us. It looks like it might still work. Whatever, even if it looks worn out as long as it flies. Before I can think further, the commander stops me with his hand. He points to the side. I turn my head, and then I see it, a pristine helicopter radiating power and majesty. No wonder the commander is proud. Even an amateur like me can't help but cheer. And Yongsu, the driver, is absolutely thrilled. The commander explains, since we're lending you a helicopter, we picked a good one. When I said I'd treat you as an ally, I wasn't just talking. After that, he turns his gaze toward Yongsu, very excited behind me. This friend of yours seems pretty hyped. You must be the pilot. Have you ever flown a helicopter before? Yongsu has no reason to lie. Not really, but this pop-up says I can fly it, with just 50 mana stones. I was wondering when to upgrade it, but my ability apparently doesn't need that. I just need to unlock vehicle types. At those words, the commander immediately understands that we need mana stones. He turns and walks toward the helicopter, then pulls out a stack of about several hundred. These 200 mana stones are a gift from every member of our team to both of you. I wanted to surprise you, but it's better to give them in person. We can't refuse the goodwill of the commander and the soldiers, so we accept them. Yongsu says he only needs 50 out of the 200, and I can do whatever I want with the rest. With that, he clicks to use them. But as soon as Yongsu uses them, a terrifying aura erupts from him, making my hair stand on end. The next second, with tears in my eyes, I'm forced onto this helicopter ride full of speed and intensity. Then Yongsu shows off his true piloting skills. His hands are moving so fast, I can't even see them, let alone keep up. So I decide to check out my recently acquired items. 2 large mana stones and 1 enhancement stone. According to PAX, 1 large mana stone is worth 200 normal ones. I don't hesitate to exchange them. My total mana stone count is now 1,393. To handle any potential emergencies, I decisively click upgrade. After all, it's better to keep some aces up my sleeve. Next, the enhancement stone. Its attribute is fire with penetration and ignition capabilities. It looks pretty dope. I chose to upgrade the bowling balls with it, since they'd already proven their power in battle. After the upgrade, Yongsu's preparations are also finished. After saying goodbye to the commander, we continue the quest for my family. Coincidentally, the system finishes its update and gains several new features. One of them is a registration system. Like Yongsu's ability, I can register objects by spending mana stones. Just like with Yongsu once, an object is registered in the subspace. I can duplicate it infinitely, so I use the subspace to duplicate a Black Hawk helicopter and give it to the commander. After that, we take off in style, leaving the commander completely shell-shocked behind us. A short while later, we're flying the Black Hawk inside that wall. As we head in, we see a skeleton knight fighting someone. The person fighting it is terrifyingly strong, knocking the skeleton knight back with a single punch. It blows Yongsu's mind, but as for me, I'm not surprised at all. Because it's my other sister, that battle maniac. My other sister, Kim Yuli, has loved watching TV since she was a kid. One day, she saw an MMA match on TV, and after that she became obsessed with fighting. Coincidentally, she had a little brother who loved playing with her. My days back then were pretty predictable. Even though Kim Yuli won, she wasn't happy, since crushing weaklings wasn't her goal. So to find stronger opponents, Kim Yuli went to parks and beat up countless kids who were years older than her. Seeing this, our father discovered her talent and sent her to learn MMA professionally. There, Kim Yuli tasted her first defeat. I thought she'd realize there's always a bigger fish, but with her competitive drive and natural athleticism, she trained day and night. Eventually, she mastered various martial arts and swept up prizes. During her school years, she reached a level that no one in her class could touch. She was truly unbeatable. But her body couldn't handle the intense training, which led to her tearing the ligaments in both knees completely. I thought she'd finally take a break, but this girl found the recovery time way too long and jumped right back into training. Old injuries never really had a chance to heal before new ones piled on. That's why her official debut was delayed by several years. Otherwise, with her skills, she would have reached the absolute top a long time ago. Meanwhile, the battle between the two continues, but this time, the skeleton knight isn't in a hurry to attack. Instead, he compliments Yuli, but before he can even finish his sentence, a flaming bowling ball strikes with precision. Upon hitting his head, his body disintegrates under the impact. This shot stuns the second sister. She thinks to herself that an opponent she herself couldn't defeat was destroyed by a single bowling ball. But before she can think about it further, we pilot the helicopter and descend slowly. She thinks it's military personnel, but when she clearly sees it's me, she lowers her guard and looks surprised. I don't say a word and lead her to the subspace to find Yulian. Yuli gives me some pointers first. Yuli's awakening is a shield that generates barriers. When the shield is active, it can reinforce her body. Next, the seal of this wall seems to be on the verge of closing. If it successfully seals up, no one knows what'll happen, and there's only one way to stop it: kill the Night King. With that crucial intel in hand, Yongsu takes off at full throttle with me. But before we even locate the Night King, I have a brush with death not from an attack, but from the sheer speed itself. But now that we've found the enemy's lair, I can't worry about that anymore. I resolutely open the door. The moment it opens, a bat lunges at us. Yuli knocks it back with a single punch. But it's not over. We only fended off one, and unexpectedly its entire family and friends swarm out. It's a pretty terrifying scene. However, this just lights a fire in Yuli's fighting spirit. She suddenly accelerates and dives into the swarm of bats. Basically, it's one punch for every small fry. I don't even know how to attack anymore. If I accidentally hurt Yuli, it just wouldn't be worth it. At that moment, I suddenly remember I have a subspace lab. Oh yeah, if I don't have a weapon handy, I can just craft one on the spot. And that's how the Thumustique, an extra-large electric bug, is born. Rarity rare attribute electric. Bonus skills: penetration, electrocution, provocation. The effect is incredibly good. I'm straight up stealing all the monsters from Yuli's side. This triggers Yuli's massive dissatisfaction. She walks toward me furiously. A red skull lurking in the shadows quietly slips away. He reports back to the Night King about what he just saw. This gives the Night King one hell of a headache. He decides to summon the Purple Skull. The Purple Skull is a bit worried. If the Master summons while he's on Earth, the High Council won't take it lightly. Once they find out, the Night King is just as helpless. But there's no other choice. The mage is at least rank 8, and even a mage of the same rank is stronger than me. Plus there's someone whose strength equals that of a knight. Hearing this, Purple Skull can only silently accept this point of view. The Night King then begins the summoning, "Come, my strongest sword Lancelot, at my service." Meanwhile, on the other side, to appease Yuli's anger, I make her a special weapon. Though not as powerful as the electric mosquito swatter, this one is by no means weak. Now that the weapon is ready, we gear up and move forward. We soon arrive at the Night King's entrance. There we find the Night King, the boss, and the skeleton knight Lancelot. Freshly summoned, the Night King immediately starts rambling about the arcane and his problems. Anyway, we don't understand a thing. Yuli doesn't feel like listening. She grabs her baseball bat and gets ready to charge into battle. But out of nowhere, the next second Lancelot attacks, with his sword instantly. Luckily, Yuli has good reflexes. She goes on the offensive. If it were me, I'd be dead already. But Yuli didn't block at all. Lancelot's attack pierces right through the electric mosquito swatter. It's rare grade equipment after all. Yuli's expression changes radically. It's not that the weapon is weak. It's that this guy is terrifyingly strong. I find it hard to believe, so I immediately hurl 3 flaming bowling balls. Almost instantly, those 3 ultra-fast bowling balls are sliced in half. This leaves me absolutely shell-shocked. You have to realize that up until now, no one has been able to dodge or even break these high-speed flying bowling balls. I was about to warn Yuli to be careful, but against all odds, she charges straight ahead and lands a precise punch right on Lancelot's head. After striking, she ducks down smoothly, anticipating the powerful counterattack from Lancelot. Then comes a rapid series of blows hammering Lancelot's head. Every single move is lethal. I take the chance to hurl a bowling ball at him with pinpoint accuracy. But this guy is totally unscathed, keeping his imposing stance. Seeing this, my instincts tell me he's extremely dangerous, way more than any monster outside. So I quickly use the product recall skill to pull Yuli and myself into the subspace. Yuli is still confused by my move, but a split second later, Lancelot attacks. His sword is only 0.01 meters from my eyes. Thankfully, I'm in the subspace, otherwise, I'd be dead for sure. From this close, I order Pax again to use delivery targeting his head. But this guy is really just too terrifying. Even at point-blank range, I can't touch him. At that moment, the Night King who was watching finally understands. I'm not a mage at all, but an awakened human. Hey, you're not a mage. You're a human, aren't you? And you've awakened the power to duplicate objects. I'm not wrong, am I, ha? Ha ha! I see. Human, do you know what kind of power you've acquired? We should work together. This sudden turnaround in attitude really catches me off guard. You must still be confused. Let me explain first. After defeating those skeleton knights, on the way you should have gotten some enhancement stones. They are created by the city to be precise. This city is an item named Camloth. Camloth can create enhancement stones by sacrificing living beings. These stones generally upgrade items and thus abilities. For example, when used on Camloth, they can summon and command the knight Lancelot, standing before me along with his 12 knights. This information definitely catches my attention. Actually, the outer walls are this object called Camloth. Well, that makes everything much easier. I finally found a way to solve it all, Night King. Thanks for the intel. Pax store Camloth in the subspace. The Night King is confused. What did you say? Who is Pax? As soon as those words are spoken, all of Camloth disappears instantly, leaving only a stunned Night King in the subspace. I'm playing with a tiny little object. That's right. This item is the element called Camloth, which is also the outer walls, or rather the symbol of the master of all skeleton knights. Your name is Lancelot, right? Can you help me defeat the Night King? At my command, Lancelot doesn't hesitate for a second. He kills him on the spot with one sword stroke. The Night King falls and drops a yellow magic stone. Lancelot manages to kill the Night King. Zhongyong, master of Lancelot, will obtain the Night King's dimensional count. Current soldiers 3,086. This news really catches both of us by surprise. Is this what they call killing for loot? It's like a total godsend falling from the sky. It would be crazy not to take it. But before I can celebrate, Yul Hyo says with a grim look, if you have a conscience, you should give me 1,000 magic stones. I'm the one who saved your life. I'm very grateful. But asking for 1,000 magic stones is outrageous. Let's compromise 500 max. You have to stay in the subspace. You know, faced with my despicable behavior, Yul Hyo can only bow and flatter me. After all, she still wants to eat gourmet meals. Next, we have to deal with the skeleton knight Lancelot. The best method is to do nothing, since he has submitted to me. In other words, there's no danger. I thought everyone would be worried, but seeing the situation, I was worried for nothing. After playing for a while, Yongsoo's daughter seems tired. She lies on Yongsoo's back and falls asleep. Then it's also time to prepare a place for Lancelot. Having said that, I take out the item called Camloth. Its quality is unique. It has 3 abilities in total, matching the Night King's info. First, it drains life force to produce enhancement stones. Next, it summons the undead. The third one is special. It can appoint other undead as knights. It also has a unique description. It can adjust its size. It will, but a fee is required. It's beyond me. It doesn't say which size costs how many magic stones. So let's invest 300 magic stones first, as a trial. As soon as I click confirm, a massive Camelot palace appears right before my eyes. This size should be enough. Once I'm done, I'm about to let everyone get some rest, but looking at the posture of this human and the skeleton, they aren't going to sleep. Both seem interested in each other's techniques. It's also good for mutually building up their strength. Anyway, I need some sleep. The next morning, a helicopter lands right in front of us. The director steps out with an indescribable smile. Director, you're not here to talk me into joining you again, are you? The director quickly shakes his head. I'm here with some important news. You absolutely cannot travel by helicopter. Since the 1st Rebel Corps took over the air defense base, they've been shooting down any aircraft crossing that airspace. We've already tried to infiltrate, but their defenses are too tight. Our forces are in a tough spot. But I remembered you mentioned going to Wujiangbu, so I came to ask for your help. This news is even worse than I expected. If we were just going to Wujiangbu, we could take a detour through Namyang, but I have to pass through the Dobong district, because my older brother and sister-in-law are still there. The 1st Corps' influence has spread to the Dobong district, so conflict is inevitable. What I fear now is that my family has already met with disaster, so we can't delay any longer. After thinking it over, I call Lancelot and tell him he'll be helping us in a few days. I order Lancelot to take his undead form and secretly infiltrate the Dobong district to spy on the enemy. Knights in undead form cannot physically interfere, but they aren't affected by physical interference either. In other words, the undead form is the best way to scout enemy camps. Therefore, we decide that Lancelot should first determine the scale of the enemy troops and the anti-aircraft artillery positions before formulating a battle plan against the enemy. This reconnaissance lasts a total of 2.5 hours and brings back some pretty shocking news. First, the soldiers of the First Corps have almost all transformed into goblin-like bodies. Next, they treat people like sacrifices, locking them up in cages. If they need sacrifices, it's undoubtedly to obtain a repulsive force. In other words, the lower the tier number, the higher the power possessed. For example, Tier 9 attacks cannot harm a Tier 8. It's just that using sacrifices to gain tiers is a method used instinctively by low-intelligence life forms. This method often involves contact with high-ranking beings and making a pact with them. I see. So it seems these scumbags are no longer human. Now let's draw up a plan. That said, even though we already know the enemy's anti-aircraft positions, they are too far apart. The moment we attack, the enemy will notice. Lancelot sees my concern and suggests calling in other knights. Hearing this, I think it makes sense, so I ask him if he has anyone in mind. Lancelot doesn't hesitate and blurts out. Almost immediately, I suggest calling Bedivere. He's a once-in-a-generation genius of long-range attacks. The only thing is Bedivere only has one arm. That's intriguing. How do you shoot arrows with just one arm? Lancelot tells Bedivere's story. Bedivere, a genius of the Duke's Order of Knights, had his arm cut off by a commander jealous of his talent. Yet he didn't give up. Instead, he found another way to replace archery. The stone thrower by training day. At night, he became one of the 12 Knights of Camelot. Don't be fooled by his single arm. His strength is among the greatest in our order. That said, I was a bit skeptical at first until the next day, when I saw him fight with my own eyes. Destructive power and terrifying precision, and the throwing speed is incredibly fast. Soon, Bedivere sends the signal that all anti-aircraft defenses are destroyed. It's truly terrifying. No wonder Lancelot is so confident in his order. They definitely have the track record to be that arrogant. But I can't dwell on that for too long. Now it's time to counterattack. Meanwhile, Lancelot tracks down the enemy commander and tortures him for intel. But this commander seems to be a real tough nut to crack. Even after brutal torture, he still has the strength to jump out the window and bolt. But it doesn't matter, we've been waiting for him outside for a while already. Seeing how desperate things are, the commander decisively kills his own comrade and devours all his magic stones and flesh. Using that momentum, he evolves to rank 8 and gains new combat abilities. However, this piece of trash doesn't even require Lancelot, who is rank 7, to step in. Bedivere, who is rank 8, can take him out easily and instantly. 322 magic stones collected. Total magic stones, 3542. Once everything is cleared, the director arrives with backup soldiers. Then he sees the brigade commander, now a goblin, on the ground. I take the opportunity to ask Lancelot if he got any info from the interrogation. Forgive me, I just learned that the higher being, they've contacted his name Tonatu. Right then, the director mentions there might be clues back at the office. So I ask Pax to sort through them. After a while, Pax has sorted through 586 documents. Decoding will cost 120 magic stones. That's not too bad. I grit my teeth. And pay. A bit later, Pax reports that among these documents, 2 of them cannot be saved. That surprises me. There really are things that can't be classified. So I ask Pax to bring them over. It's a dimensional entity registration form. Lancelot explains that this material can boost his level. The one with clear writing is the official form, while the sloppy one is from someone taking a shortcut to register. Officially, it requires magic stones and a dimensional account, just like the form says. And Master, you meet all the criteria. Do you want to submit the application? I definitely want to apply, but it costs 1,000 magic stones. What a steal. 1,000 magic stones to hit rank 8. The moment I sign, the official form mysteriously vanishes. That's it, I don't feel any different at all. Outside, a patrolling goblin head back to camp on a motorcycle. But all that's waiting for him are dead bodies. And he's immediately spotted by Bedivere, who is keeping watch. On the other hand, the documents reveal that Dobong district has been taken over by rebels. We can't afford to waste any more time. We have to move out right now. But there's a catch, our vehicles are military grade. We won't be able to hide our identity. It looks like we'll have to take electric bikes for now and look for other rides along the way. Just as I'm thinking that, Bedivere pulls up on a rugged motorcycle and appears right in front of me. What a stroke of luck. Nothing can stop him now. Just in case, I spend 22 magic stones to register it under the military category. Then without further ado, we start tearing through the streets on the bike. Whenever we run into goblins, Diver hurls bowling balls to attack. If any get through, Lancelot handles them. That's how we clear every obstacle and finally arrive at my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's place. But I keep knocking on the door over and over, and no one answers. With a sense of dread, I push the door open with a heavy heart. The inside is trashed and a total mess. but without the signs of a struggle I had feared. Suddenly, I find a note nearby already layered in dust. It says clearly that my brother and sister-in-law have already left for Wujiangbu to meet up with our parents. Seeing this information, my pent-up anxiety finally subsides, but I can't let my guard down just yet. After all, I haven't seen them with my own eyes. As we're talking, an attack helicopter aims its weapon right at us and opens fire at a rate of 5 bullets per second. But this time I don't dodge. Better yet, I don't even need to dodge. Because I'm rank 8 now, this kind of attack has zero effect on me. In fact, this helicopter looks pretty sleek. I'll gladly take it for 141 magic stones. Then we immediately speed off on the motorcycle and finally reach our destination before sunset. But a bunch of mindless goblins are actually getting ready to attack. My house, this makes me furious. How dare they touch my home? They're asking for death. The two knights strike back, immediately against these level 9 losers. It's a total massacre. The fight ends in a flash. Before my eyes stands the house where we grew up. After dealing with the enemies, I get ready to knock on the door, with a heavy heart, hoping it won't be like it was at my brother's and sister-in-law's place. Before we can even step up, the door swings open, pushed by an aged but steady hand. It's my family, the people I've been dying to see after months apart. Seeing them again, the emotions I've been holding back finally burst out. To avoid causing any unnecessary panic, I introduce Lancelot first, followed by the others. I open the portal so Jean and Yuli can reunite with their family too, just like I did. When they see Dad and the rest, everyone breaks down in tears of joy. Finally, we bring them all into Subspace 2. I learned that Dad awakened the architect skill, and my sister-in-law got alchemy. This should be amazing news, but Mom freezes after tasting the food. This broken-down guy's food is better than her cooking. Is he some master chef? But Mom won't back down. Since you fed us so well, I'll handle the fresh dessert. And soon, Mom's green grape cream tiramisu is born. Just one bite wins everyone over except Grandpa. But Grandpa is only interested in chess. He pushes Lancelot aside to start a game. Lancelot wants to refuse, but he can't. Now that my family is safe and together, it's time to take out that core that betrayed humanity. A few days later on the front lines, enemy fire rains down on me like a storm, but it does nothing. Instead, I fire back with the LF-40 missiles I developed. According to Lancelot's intel, the first core is holding citizens elsewhere, not at the HQ. In other words, I can use high-destruction weapons to blast the HQ without holding back. The missiles are already powerful, not to mention I've upgraded them. At this rate, I can easily and quickly stack up the 10,000 magic stones needed to upgrade the subspace. But when I check the magic stone balance, I'm completely baffled. After such a long battle, at least 3,000 to 4,000 should have been deposited. Why is it so low? Pax, explain this. According to the platform's regulations, 45% of earnings are paid as fees to Tonatiuh of the Mexica dimension. 25% is paid to High Priest Kim Bong-ju. That name sounds familiar. Isn't that the Tonatiuh that Lancelot mentioned? Right then, Lancelot returns. So I fill him in on what I've seen. Lancelot explains that Mexica, in the Mexica dimension, is likely the planet where Tonatiuh was born or perhaps a civilization, and that Kim Bong-ju can be considered a traitor. A moment later, Kim Bong-ju looks at the smoke rising from everywhere below and feels confused. Could this be an enemy attack? But I don't see any hunters or armored vehicles. Before he can think about it any further, a projectile strikes Kim Bong-ju with pinpoint accuracy, piercing him right through. That's right, it's my flaming bowling ball. I thought the battle was over, but against all odds, this guy is still alive, and his body is recovering at lightning speed. Soon, he takes on this beefed-up goblin form. It's pretty hideous. Then a giant eye emerges from the sky, staring down at everyone. That eye is so intense it gives me the creeps. My heart won't stop pounding like crazy. Is this what a high-level being is like? Lancelot doesn't plan on wasting words. With one sword stroke, he decapitates Kim Bong-ju, but it's totally useless. As long as that eye up there exists, he can regenerate infinitely. Faced with this bug-like character, Lancelot has his ways. Since we can't kill him, we'll just beat him until he collapses. That's a pretty good suggestion, but I feel like letting that eye keep staring is bound to lead to something disastrous. Is there no way to cut off that eye's power source? Suddenly, I think of Song Yong-gu. That's it. I have the subspace Lancelot. Throw him in here. Lancelot doesn't hesitate and hurls him into the subspace. The moment he enters, the energy from Tonatiuh is cut off. Kim Bong-ju returns to his original form. He surprises Jean, who happens to be walking by. Luckily, Yuli is right there to protect her. When Yuli sees me, she looks like she wants to kill me. She's probably blaming me for not letting her fight the monsters. It's honestly terrifying. I quickly close the subspace, fearing she'll jump out and rip me apart. Only poor Kim Bong-ju is left being used by Yuli as a punching bag and literally beaten to death. Insane. I've taken control of Kim Bong-ju's account. The magic stone count will be calculated automatically. Total magic stones 14,823. This number catches me completely off guard. Kim Bong-ju really embezzled a ton. But why didn't Tonachu take his 45% cut of this remainder? I look up without thinking, and sure enough, it has vanished without a trace. It seems Kim Bong-ju was just his vessel to descend, and when I pulled him into the subspace, their connection was severed. What a genius move. Luckily, Tonatiu backed off. That gaze of his was making my skin crawl. Right then, the director finally arrives with the soldiers. Familiar faces, a familiar scene, just a different place. But this time, the timing is perfect. They're just in time to stay and clean up the mess. As soon as he sees the rebel leader's body, the director bows in gratitude. It actually catches me off guard. Thank you so much, even if I'm only saying it now from start to finish. It's you who helped us get through the toughest times. We've been so useless, but can you help everyone? Many are still in deep trouble. Some have lost. Their loved ones, others are severely injured. I know it's because of our military's incompetence. That's why I want to ask for your help. Before he can finish, I cut him off by holding up my hand. This isn't a transaction, but one-sided aid. Let's be clear from the jump. I have no intention of joining the army, so my help depends entirely on my judgment and my mood. At those words, the director seems to find hope again. Hope that humanity can get back to a normal life. To solidify this bond, the director publicly grants me the title of honorary colonel. It makes me blush with embarrassment, especially the title Colonel Kim. With things settled, it's time to head home. But first, as a precaution, I update the system first. Just 10,000 measly magic stones. Meanwhile, Bedivere seems to have found something in Kim Bong-ju's office. Looking at it closely, these are clearly registration forms for 3D entities. So Bedivere rushes over to find me and presents these 3 forms. It surprises me a bit, though. If I have these, it looks like I can solve a major problem. That's it, the problem is Yuli, whom I've locked in the subspace. Looking at her expression, I know I'm toast. So I quickly pull out the form and explain I only stopped you from going out because I was worried about your safety. But with this, you can fight in total safety, honestly. I also hope you'll totally smoke those monsters, for real. You don't think I locked you up just to mess with you, right? Nah, after hearing that, Yuli thinks for a second. To apply, you need a dimensional account, don't you, crap? I remember she doesn't even have a dimensional account yet. In other words, she knows I'm lying before I can think another thought. A punch lands squarely on my cheek. That massive impact sends me spinning 3,600 degrees through the air before I hit the ground. Luckily, I'm level 8 now. Low-level attacks don't really hurt me much, but it still stings a bit. Just then, the system notifies me that the subspace upgrade is complete. Tons of new features have been unlocked. Among them, the enhancement of the subspace's healing effect catches my eye as it seems to make Lancelot and the others itchy all over and burning with pain. It's the first time I've seen a situation like this. However, Joyo, who studied medicine, notices something immediately. These are symptoms of scab formation. I see. Since Lancelot and the others are undead, receiving healing is the same as making them evolve, so they need to stay inside Camelot, which can drain life force to obtain enhancement stones. Without further ado, we head straight into Camelot. As soon as we enter, 2 enhancement stones drop. So this is it, the power to drain life force for enhancement stones. Who would have thought the subspace survival system in Camelot, which drains life force, could create such exquisite harmony from opposing properties, an infinite power source, while I can generate enhancement stones, limitless, and that the scope of my abilities is gradually expanding. This cheat ability isn't just constantly getting stronger, but it's also becoming more efficient to use. Yet I still feel incapable of defeating that being. I have to get stronger. Strong enough to make all the invaders retreat in terror. The next day, a pop-up window appears. It announces the High Council has classified the potential of the Earth dimension as Grade B. In 7 days, official bidding will begin for the entire Earth. Participating dimensions and residents of the Earth dimension must choose representatives by region to compete. If other dimensions win, portals will be established in the designated winning regions for future colonization. If the residents of the Earth dimension win, additional rewards will be granted. We look forward to the enthusiastic participation of the Earth dimension. Respectfully, the Multidimensional High Council. Simply put, this means they want to invade Earth, and this Multidimensional High Council seems to take this all very lightly, whether it's colonization or bidding. Just as I'm thinking about it, another pop-up window appears inviting me to become the city representative. After a brief moment of reflection, I finally decide to take on this great responsibility and represent the city. However, participating in the bidding process requires 100 people, so I asked the commander for help. The commander is more than happy to help when he hears my request. He was initially reluctant to let anyone else be the representative, but if it's me, it's a different story. The commander then pulls out a small notebook, asking me to write down the skills I want for my team. I tell him it's unnecessary. Snipers will be enough, after all. We are fighting a defensive battle, and our opponent in this bidding war is the Ames dimension. They appear to be an order of holy knights, armed with shining armor and weapons. Among them are several level 8 warriors. The bidding method is simple. The Ames dimension will bring a portal core to Earth, and we must destroy that core. It will hatch after 12 hours. Once it hatches, successfully, the Ames dimension wins and acquires the pioneering rights to this territory. Our side is mainly composed of level 9 warriors, so I expect them to try and overwhelm us with an all-out attack, leaving only a small force behind to defend. That makes things easier. With Lancelot, Prime, and me on the offensive, there shouldn't be any issues. What worries me is the defense. The commander is a bit anxious, because while ordinary firearms work well, against level 9s, level 8s are a whole different story. I smile calmly. Of course, I already thought of that. Last night, I upgraded my abilities. The first is simultaneous delivery. I can now deliver 8 items at once, second the subspace lab. Finally, I can run clear simulation tests before producing the actual result. I can confirm the performance and appearance of the final product through simulation. But what kind of weapon should I create with this skill? It has to be something that even non-awakened people can use easily, and that can take down level 8 enemies. After careful thought, I decide to upgrade the weapons and ammo, and so a week of preparation begins. The snipers undergo special training. My father quickly builds fortifications using his architect ability. Kim Yuli leads the strike team on monster hunts, using the magic stones they acquire to boost their stats. Eventually, Kim Yuli gains a long-range protective barrier, and my older sister acquires area of effect healing, 2 very useful skills. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, the day of the bidding arrives. The Ames dimension seems to be building a couple of things. I guess they're meant to guard the portal core, but the bidding is about to start. Will they really have time to finish those things? Before I can give it more thought, Ames warriors suddenly appear before us. With a grand gesture, they order the attack. It's almost exactly what I predicted. They're about to taste our wrath. Immediately, a hail of bullets rains down on those knights. They thought that level 9 attacks couldn't hurt them, but reality hits them hard. Everything is going according to plan. Our assault team moves out right after. We finally reach the enemy headquarters. An imposing statue stands here. The quality is top-notch, and they built it fast, too. I don't know how tough its defense is, so I fire 3 Hellfire missiles to test it. To my complete surprise, the statue takes the hit without a single crack. It's a great defensive tool. I wanted to store it in the subspace, but an old man on the other side keeps yapping, which is really getting on my nerves. But then I turn and see some steel I-beams nearby. A diabolical idea hits me. Pax store. Those beams in the subspace. The second the words leave my mouth, that pile of structural steel vanishes. When it reappears, it slams down hard on the statue. Those Ames dimension people and the statue are all crushed into mush. Congratulations on winning the bidding battle. All 100 victorious. Participants will receive dimensional accounts. The 5,000 Magic Stones victory bonus will be distributed, based on contribution. The management rights for Dimension Lee and Earth held by the Ames dimension will be transferred to the city representative. Since there are so many Magic Stones, without hesitation, I immediately sign up Yongsu, my big sister Kim Yul Prime, and my father will get another level 8. A management rights document falls into my hands, and a red portal appears before my eyes. But it seems I'm not allowed to enter even though they gave me the management rights. While I'm standing there confused, a pop-up window appears clearly, stating that the Multidimensional High Council wants to buy the management rights for 10,000 Magic Stones. That makes me curse under my breath. They clearly gave it to me as a reward, and yet they're pulling this stunt. They're really pushing it, even if I have to scrap it. There's no way I'm letting them play me. Night falls quickly, the moon shining bright. The building is plunged into darkness. The auction results are out, and they can only be described as disastrous. It was a total wipeout with only a few regions coming out on top. Out of the country's 5 auction battles, only Incheon failed. So we suggest pooling our forces and heading to Incheon together. The Incheon Command Center is quickly sending out an SOS and intel. The enemy consists of lizardmen from the Slasher Dimension. They've currently opened a portal on Tank Street. They have insane mobility and can fight simultaneously on the ground and in the air. The fighting has paused for now, but the enemy is still pouring troops through the portal. A major force is likely stationed here. Their target seems to be City A. I see. It looks like they're planning another invasion right this second. Another window pops up. From now on, the winning regional representatives of Earth Dimension will be marked above their heads. That's what it says, but there doesn't seem to be a marker over my head. Am I not the regional representative of City A? No way. I took part in the bidding today. Dengkai! A pop-up window appears. Other dimensions that won the auction can spawn portals in a region by eliminating Earth Dimension's regional representatives. The moment this message appears, everything suddenly goes quiet. After a long silence, the commander realizes this is a game of territory capture. Kill the leader to win. Hearing the commander say that Lancelot seems to understand why there's no marker over my head. He quickly leans out the window. The next second, he sees the 4 large characters City A representative boldly displayed above the entire building. So it wasn't that it wasn't there, it was just way up high. That's why we couldn't see it from inside. This is pretty bad. With letters that big, the lizard men are bound to notice. And it looks like they've already started prepping their troops. This feeling, it's like the enemy knew the rules in advance. Lancelot gives an affirmative nod. We need to get ready fast, otherwise, City A will fall too. But it's actually a good thing the marker above my head is broadcasting my location. It's also an opportunity, a chance to lure them in. We just need to find a spot that's easy to defend and tough to attack, yes. Finding a place like that is the real problem. Actually, it's pretty simple. We just have to find a terrain that minimizes our losses and maximizes the damage to the enemy. Gyeong Bridge would be an excellent choice. A bridge. It restricts movement. The surrounding area is an eco-park with no houses. I can open fire freely. My dad just needs to use the Ames Dimension materials to build a raised platform where the soldiers can shoot from. We'll definitely have a shot at winning. Besides, while building the structures, I discovered some Ames sacred spears stored in the Ames material warehouse. They should be perfect as a roadblock, or Bedivere could hurl them from afar. The next day comes fast. Everyone is ready in tight formation. Roadblocks and anti-enemy defenses are in place. Total work time, so far 4 hours. This is thanks to my dad's architect skill and Pax's features. It went smoother than expected. While everyone is thinking that, we overlooked 2 points. Reptiles are apparently all excellent swimmers. Diving underwater effectively makes Bedivere lose visual contact. Additionally, the vegetation is thicker than expected perfectly, masking their forms. But by the time we realize it, it's already too late. The enemy is only a mile away from us. Given the situation, I rush to deliver the Ames Dimension construction materials, but the enemy actually has terrifying level 7 warriors. And not just one. At this rate, we'll be wiped out. So I have Lancelot take one on, and I use my delivery skill to handle the other. Lancelot doesn't hesitate. With a single slash, he aims straight for the enemy's head, but the lizardman blocks it. Knight, you're brave to charge into our formation alone. Your name, Lancelot. 2 syllables revealing his chivalrous aura. Very well. I am Laqui. Since ancient times, warriors have instinctively sought to test themselves against the strongest. Would you risk your life in a duel with me, Lancelot? Lancelot pauses, then speaks, I accept your challenge, but you're gonna fight me while riding on that lizard's back. That's right. You think that's unfair, warrior? A duel to the death is meant to determine who's stronger. Before he can finish, Lancelot cuts him off. Cut the crap. You just want to use it to make up for your own lack of strength. Fine then, I'll even put my life on the line. If you beat me, I won't say a word. Then bring it on. Hearing this, Laqui flies into a rage. He resolutely jumps off his lizard ready to go 300 rounds with Lancelot. Meanwhile, the soldiers are firing their upgraded rifles without rest. But these guys are tougher than we thought. They quickly break through the first line of defense. Luckily, with Kim Yuli's timely backup, we're barely holding on. But Kim Yuli seems to have forgotten that her job is to help Bedivere hunt down the aerial monsters. This leaves Bedivere a bit confused. In the meantime, I managed to overpower the level 7 in front of me thanks to my beams. Fortunately, he's not very bright and is only staying on the defensive. Lancelot's situation isn't looking good. In just a few strikes, he's being pushed back. It's not just pressure, it's total domination. This guy's spear technique is insanely strong. However, just as Laqui is about to decapitate Lancelot, the spear in his hand suddenly stops, pulled by a powerful force. I'm a little confused. Then I remember the Ames building materials. That spear was recalled just like them. While I don't know why you're wielding an Ames Dimension weapon, or should I say building material, thanks, I'll put it to good use. This move makes Laqui's face turn pale with fury. To desecrate a warrior's duel like this, you were accusing me, but in the end, you're the scumbag here. Lancelot looks innocent. Your weapon's gone, looks like you're scared. But don't worry whether your throat is slit or you're beaten to death. It's all the same in the end. Death awaits you. Lancelot then takes an offensive stance. On my end, I use the spear. I seized no borrowed from Lequi. In an instant, I skewer the level 7 lizard man, standing before me. The poor lizard man doesn't even have time to react, before being killed instantly. Congratulations on obtaining ownership of the Dimension account. Former account holder Yato. Balance 1667. Enhancement stone acquired. No attributes. His trait is non-ghost, and the effect is absolutely top tier. The scene cuts back to Lancelot. Thanks to Kim Yuli's skills, Lancelot easily dominates Lequi. Lequis is defeated without even being able to strike back. He can only use his mount for one last desperate stand, but unfortunately, for him he's up against Lancelot. A single punch sends him flying dozens of meters away. He lies on the ground, motionless. Just to be safe, Lancelot delivers the finishing blows. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. With that, the great battle comes to a full close under my lead. We successfully defend the city. Man, that was a brutal fight. Those lizard men are tough. Our strategy didn't work at all. More importantly, their portal is still open. As long as it stays open, Cigar might attack again. So this time it's our turn to go on the offensive. To get intel on the lizardman Jiangsu, and I take a helicopter to Inshin. As soon as we get out, everyone salutes us. Honestly, I feel a bit awkward even though I've been called out like this countless times. The man speaks slowly. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Park In-bo, Operations Chief of the 17th Inshin Division. Thank you so much for coming to support us. I don't say much, and let him guide me to headquarters. After all, the lizard men won't just sit around and wait. A few minutes later, in the conference room, Park In-bo explains the location of the enemy HQ. I found it, but for some reason, the area is covered in a layer of clay. Touching this mud doesn't cause any skin problems, but the issue is that we have a hard time walking on it. On the other hand, the lizard men can easily hide in that terrain. I see. That's easy then. I have someone who can move freely in that stuff. I summon Lancelot, but Lancelot points out it won't work. After all, an undead can only move. He's not invisible, and will be spotted quickly. Lancelot has an expert candidate for reconnaissance Mordred, one of the 12 Knights of Camelot. Mordred is different from the other knights. He rarely operates on the open battlefield. Where he excels is in the heart of enemy territory using Kaolin, techniques that are secret and fast like infiltration, assassination, and theft. To become one of the 12 Knights of Camelot, he can operate as a top-tier assassin in the shadows, not just because of his superior strength and sharp wit, but mainly because he possesses a special talent, invisibility. As the name suggests, he can turn transparent and hide his presence instantly. But it only masks his form. He doesn't actually vanish, so he can still be affected by external factors. However, when I summon Mordred, I use this enhancement stone with Ghost Step. So basically, right now even while invisible, Mordred cannot be physically obstructed. In short, a legendary assassin buffed by an enhancement stone becomes even more cracked. I then give him a quick briefing. Mordred gets it almost instantly. It's clearly the confidence of a veteran. How reassuring. Mission understood. Mordred leaves immediately for the enemy HQ. Shortly after he leaves, Lancelot senses a mysterious gaze. It makes me a little nervous. Are the lizard men attacking? The next second, Lancelot pounces and vanishes from his spot. When he reappears, a long sword is pressed against the spy's throat. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions. Your answers will determine if you live or die. With that, he grabs the spy by the neck. Luckily, I stop him just in time. I can also clearly see the person's face. Isn't that Baek Myung-woo, my best friend? As those words leave my mouth, Lancelot freezes immediately with 3 question marks, crossing his mind. On the other side, Mordred infiltrates the enemy HQ. He sees that the lizard men vary wildly in size. Their growth is extremely irregular. But whatever. The priority is finding that portal creature. A few minutes later, Mordred reaches the deepest area and sees the portal creature hatching, along with some unknown old man who looks like a mage. What's more, there's a massive python. While Mordred thinks he's found some major leads, he doesn't notice that what he's leaning on is a chameleon. Before he even realizes it, the chameleon has already snagged him with its tongue and slams him against the wall behind him. His invisibility is broken just like that. Everyone discovers Mordred's presence. The mage doesn't hesitate. He summons a magic scroll ready to kill Mordred on the spot. Meanwhile, Lancelot, realizing his mistake, punishes himself just like something out of a book. It leaves both of us speechless, but we leave him be. Then I have a detailed conversation with Baek Myung-gu. I find out that his mother seems to be trapped at her place, unable to move, and could be in danger at any moment. After all, that place is the enemy's den. To make up for his blunder, Lancelot offers to go alone to rescue her. I thought everything would go smoothly, but unexpected things always happen. Suddenly, Lancelot didn't expect to run into Mordred on the way back, and he seems to be pursued by a pack of enemies. Looks like the operation failed. Lancelot curses under his breath as everything goes south at this critical moment. But there's no time to think. Lancelot immediately hands off his task to Mordred. Lancelot chooses to face them alone just to buy some time. As for the result, it was predictable. Shortly after, I get the news that Lancelot has been eliminated. I then get the full details from Mordred. Lancelot sacrificed himself to protect Mordred's intel and Myunggu's mother. What a great night. Of course, Lancelot isn't dead, since I can summon him back with enhancement and magic stones. But I still feel pretty uncomfortable about it. Being able to respawn and being willing to die are two different things. I don't know if I pushed Lancelot too hard, leading to a pointless sacrifice. But since it's done, I just have to bite the bullet and accept it. As I'm thinking about resurrecting Lancelot, Mordred interrupts me. He says Lancelot left a message before his sacrifice. Use this regeneration enhancement stone on Percival. Since it's Lancelot's final request, I don't hesitate anymore. That afternoon, there a knight wielding a battle axe, and a shield appears in the enemy's lair. That's right, he's the tankiest knight in all of Camelot. Percival, already famous for his top-tier defensive abilities, now has regeneration too. He's basically invincible against warriors of his level. The mage nearby, thinking he's a nobody, snickers and raises his hand for a magic scroll. But the magic scroll seems to be sucked away by something and doesn't respond to his orders at all. That's right, it's me. I spent 5,000 magic stones to forcefully categorize it. The mage, having lost his scroll, is like a lamb to the slaughter as Mordred decapitates him with a single sword stroke. Immediately, Percival doesn't hesitate, and with a swing of his axe, he was about to smash the portal creature to pieces, but he is pushed back by the giant snake lurking in the shadows. Seeing the turn of events, the giant snake seizes the portal creature to flee and buy time for the main force. However, the moment it emerges, it runs right into me, the representative. It instantly realizes it's been trapped and prepares for mutual destruction, trying to take me down with it. But no way I'd let that happen. An I-beam sends it flying several meters away, but given the snake's massive size, the damage is minimal in this case, so why not fire more? But this time, the giant snake is already prepared. It spins rapidly, deflecting all the beams. Then, with its undulating body, it instantly climbs up a tall building. It then opens its enormous maw and spits out a glob of clearly toxic spit. Young-soo can't dodge in time. The helicopter is hit in an instant. A hole is pierced through it. Seeing the situation, I quickly activate object recall, storing the helicopter into subspace. The next second, a brand new helicopter appears in front of the giant snake, which shocks it. The venom failed. What kind of ability is this? Before it can react, 2 spears from Laquise pierce its body, and that's not all. Immediately after, an ice lance hits it dead on. This ice lance is magic from that mage's scroll. This attack seems effective against the giant snake. To make things easier, come taste the sensation of being pierced by 10,000 arrows. As the words fall countless, ice lances rain down like a downpour. The giant snake roars in agony and is left frozen unconscious. But that doesn't seem enough to kill it. It only temporarily robs it of its mobility, however. This is enough time for us to finish it with wind rain. Thunder and lightning magic, basically. Everything usable is deployed, and finally, after an hour of inhumane torture, the giant snake lies on the ground clinging, barely to life with its last breath before dying. He says something cryptic. In the near future, your dimension will also hunt other dimensions. In turn, we had no choice because the universe was designed this way from the very start. After saying that, the light fades from his eyes, and he completely loses his life. Ding dimensional account ownership acquired. Current soldiers 18,000. Magic stones. His words intrigue me a bit, but I don't dwell on them too much. All the most important thing is killing the portal beast. As for that task, it naturally falls to the professional butcher. After some time, the system sends a message. Dimensional account ownership acquired. Balance 33,000. Magic stones. Total current assets 51,000. Magic stones. It seems they found and killed the portal creature. Of course, in addition to the magic stones, Mordred and the others also found 3 enhancement stones. I don't hesitate. I use those 3 stones to revive Lancelot. With that, the great battle comes to an end. The management rights of the country return to us and the enemy is wiped out. We won a decisive victory. However, even so, you can't say this place is safe yet, because there are still orcs and wyverns around, relatively primitive monsters. Completely clearing out the monsters and restoring the country's operations might take a long time. But I believe that one day the land will find peace again, and this field is just the first shot. We've fired. After the great battle, we decide to throw a party to celebrate our victory. A variety of delicious dishes are available thanks to Chef Jung-sik, who was invited by Myung-woo's mother. These dishes are perfect in aroma, color, and taste. They're mouth-watering. However, given the appetite of the Camelot Knights, the chef can't keep up the pace, so he only makes one variety. The rest were reproduced by packs. As we celebrate with all our hearts, there's another thing to celebrate. It turns out my sister-in-law seems to be pregnant. That means I'm going to have a nephew. I suddenly feel like an adult. While we're in the midst of the joy, the commander suddenly sends an urgent report. It looks like the worst is about to go down, and that's the case. On the phone, the commander tells me that the purification is imminent. Toxic gas from the western border is rapidly approaching the heart of the country. Plus, there's another problem, the poisoned water. Gushing from the Walker's portal could destroy the nation. But the most urgent issue is the toxic gas. If inhaled, this isn't just a gas invasion, but also huge insects. So we must first close the portal on the western border. The situation is super urgent. Without a second thought, I immediately agree to provide reinforcements. But before that, preparations must be made. I update the subspace to find useful abilities. Afternoon arrives, and the subspace successfully completes its update. A new function is added, the creation of a fixed portal to the subspace. Called a fixed portal. It differs from the ones I usually use. First, it stays anchored where it was summoned. Second, the fixed portal has no physical properties. It cannot block enemy attacks. But if you have permission to enter the subspace, enemy attacks can be avoided. While it's not perfect, being able to enter and exit the subspace to retrieve items is already very impressive. After setting up the portal, we said goodbye to everyone and immediately left for Country B. To close it, thanks to Yong-soo's slick flying, I arrived smoothly at the temporary transit station, where a captain from the 3rd Corps has been waiting for me for a while. We board this modified C-130. It's twice as fast as a Black Hawk helicopter. This news immediately catches Yong-soo's attention. Truly a pilot. His enthusiasm for vehicles is off the charts. I'm more interested in the modification tech. The captain doesn't hide anything. He flat out says that the whole plane was modded by this engineer James, who has a gift for mechanics. Looking at these mods, this guy is definitely the real deal. If only he worked for me, he'd build a flying bike or even a horse cycle. But recruiting him at the first meeting would be inappropriate. Yet, his abilities vibe so well with mine. I have unlimited replication and endless materials, and he has mechanical modification skills. After enough of a mental struggle, I finally can't resist asking James, "Do you want to join my team?" James refuses without even thinking about it. His reason, "We just met, and he doesn't trust me." That reaction is logical. Having been rejected, I feel awkward and get ready to leave. But James suddenly changes his tone, saying he can help me on one condition. I have to help him get back to his hometown. Such a simple condition. Of course, I accept. I open a portal and summon a plane, a car, and a motorcycle. You can mod them or scrap them however you like. Think of them as a gift. I'll catch you later on that. I turn on my heel leaving, James stunned. He regrets not knowing that I had this ability. If he'd known, he would have signed up a long time ago. But it's too late now. Words, once spoken, can't be taken back. Then Yong-soo pilots the plane and we take off the next day. We make it to Country B, but the place has already been swamped by insect swarms. The sight makes me feel a bit sick to my stomach, but since we're already here, we have no choice. Then we put the plane away in the subspace. When we step out, I'm fully geared up to avoid any toxic gas exposure. At that same moment in front of the portal, a group of swordsmen is already waiting for us. Leading them is Yun Yang of Chigang, the supreme commander of the site. After swapping intel, we arrive at a room I'm not familiar with. Here, a group of people in training gear are meditating and circulating their chi defending against the toxic air. Yun Yang explains that they're using internal energy to clear the gas, making the air safe to breathe. So I take off my suit and have a deep dive conversation to get the specific lowdown. According to Yun Yang, their opponent in the bid was a dimension called El Dabur. It sprays a highly toxic gas. Ordinary awakened ones and soldiers without internal energy were completely wiped out. The martial awakened can detoxify themselves, but it burns too much energy for them to join the fight. Eventually, the portal opened, and the insects multiplied like crazy. And there you have it. After his explanation, I immediately got the gist of it. In other words, as long as there's fresh air, they can recover their strength. Yun Yang looks puzzled by what I'm saying. I tell him to wait. Then I head into the subspace. As soon as I'm there, I ask Pax to bring me some air tanks. Then at the lab, I break down the tanks, leaving only the mass of air, and I register that air mass as a product. This way, I have an infinite supply of air. I'm a genius. The martial arts awakeners receiving fresh air again slowly start to get their color back, and soon seem to be back in top shape. At that moment, Yun Yang stares at me in disbelief, then quickly gives me a 90-degree bow as a sign of gratitude. It leaves me a bit flustered. This is exactly the kind of situation I'm worst at handling. I quickly tell him to stand up. In top form, we will launch the final battle in 3 days. I approve of Yun Yang's decision, but before this decisive battle, the warriors need to rest. The next second, delicious dishes appear on the table. After eating, we immediately begin the combat briefing. Yun Yang informs me that the creatures here are level 8. The level 7 ones are visible at a glance. And there are 2 portals. One is at Mount Beckman, the other is at... Before he can finish, a deafening roar suddenly erupts from outside. Looking closer, it's a centipede over 100 meters long. It looks like a level 7, but it's actually just a small level 8 fry. Hearing that it's a level 8, Kim Yuli immediately gets interested. She leaps out ready for battle. This time, I don't stop her. After all, I have faith in Kim Yuli. But it's only after her jump that we realize we forgot to prep any protective gear for her. Just as everyone is getting ready to rescue her, a massive explosion suddenly booms from below. Taking a closer look, Kim Yuli actually killed it with a single punch. That move completely stuns Yun Yang and Gwen Ryong. She shattered the centipede's shell without even using internal energy. The legendary celestial martial body exists. Before Kim Yuli could celebrate for more than a few seconds, toxic gas invades her body, causing her to pass out completely. Luckily, thanks to the care of Yun Yang and the others, Kim Yuli recovers. We start a new planning phase. Here is a simple solution. Summary. First, the polluted atmosphere restricts movement. Second, there are too many bugs to take out one by one, and we still don't understand the level 7 bugs. Third, we have to close the portals within 3 days, at the latest. The ultimate goal is to destroy the portal core. Therefore, we must reach Mount Beckman, where the heart of the portal is, as quickly as possible while avoiding any conflict with those insects. It is indeed difficult, but luckily, the 2 portal monsters are in the same place. Although it's a bit reckless, it's the best approach at this stage. We will teach all our techniques to Miss Kim Yuli, since you prefer hand-to-hand combat. Over weapons, let Gwen Ryong teach you the essence of martial weapons. Kim Yuli can't help but wonder, are there really such good things in this world? But she eventually accepts, and the 2 start their training day and night. As for Yun Yang, I won't let him stay idle. If I can milk more out of him, I will. I bring along Baek Myung-woo, and I'm not slacking off while they train either. I'm brainstorming how to exterminate the insects. The first thing that comes to mind is an electronic trap, but that only works on the small fry. It's completely useless against the big bugs. However, my sister-in-law suggests trying it. Hearing that, I remember she has alchemy powers, and a special effect insecticide is born. All I can say is the effect is top tier. Basically, insects die as soon as they touch it. Even though it's useless against level 7s, it's more than enough for the small bugs. My sister-in-law is truly the GOAT. With the help of the insecticide, we reach the final stage, Mount Beckman, without a hitch. But as soon as we enter, a massive insect appears before us. It's definitely a level 7. Without hesitation, I immediately attack with I-beams, but it doesn't do a lick of damage. Before we can attack again, a giant spider appears behind us. At that moment, Lancelot has a stroke of genius. He tells us to climb onto the spider's body, so the grasshopper won't just attack us blindly. We do it immediately and scramble onto its back. But before we can even catch our breath, the grasshopper doesn't play by the rules. In a single bound, it instantly kills the level 7 spider. Fortunately, we jump off just in time and avoid disaster. But why would this grasshopper attack its own allies? Wait, no, it's just a bug through and through. While it can distinguish enemies, it isn't smart enough to account for where its allies are standing. In that case, as long as we climb onto the grasshopper's back, won't we be safe? As soon as the words leave my mouth, everyone quickly jumps into action. The result is exactly what I expected. Unable to find any enemies, the grasshopper starts acting frustrated. Even though it can't see us, the others can definitely see us on its head. Driven by survival instinct, the grasshopper instantly kills the bee that comes to attack it. This makes me realize that this is maybe an opportunity, a chance to reach the portal in total safety. So I have Young-soo try to see if he can pilot this grasshopper vehicle. The result is quite unexpected. He can actually drive it. A true master of the wheel. From then on, we ride the grasshopper, overcoming every obstacle, and finally reach the depths of the Beckman world. Now that we've arrived, Mr. Grasshopper, rest in peace. After saying a prayer, it's time to deal with these 2 portal monsters. However, this kind of thing should be done by the people of Country B themselves. So I give this chance to Yun Yang. I see Yun Yang holding a sword with both hands silently, reciting an incantation. Golden sword energy begins to gather around him. The next second, 2 sword beams strike the portal monsters with precision. One portal vanishes, but why hasn't the other one disappeared? As the smoke clears, a massive black hand is protecting the other portal monster, and the owner of that massive hand is a giant fly. The aura it gives off is the strongest I've ever encountered. So far aside from that eye, its power has well and truly reached rank 6. Facing an enemy this powerful, I can't afford to be careless. I immediately summon the Holy Spear of M to attack, but it's unscathed. This is absolutely ridiculous. Lancelot says to attack the portal core. Once the portal core is destroyed, it will be forcibly pulled back, of course. I know that, but how do I draw its attention? Suddenly, something comes to mind, something insect-related. The electric bug zapper, right? After saying that, I summon it the next instant. The giant fly's countless eyes swarm in front of me. This terrifying scene completely freezes me. My breathing quickens. Faced with the situation, Lancelot quickly orders Mordred to destroy the portal monster. Mordred lives up to expectations and splits it in two with a single sword strike. Dimensional account ownership acquired. Balance 48,000. Magic stones. Current magic stone stock 74,000. The Beldebor dimension has lost its exploitation rights. In the Western Border Zone, the Western Border Zone has been subjected to the Earth domain. As soon as the system announcement ends, the giant fly disappears along with the portal. I breathe a sigh of relief. That was a close call. When I saw it right in front of me, I was completely helpless. I didn't even think to hide in the subspace, but at least we managed to drive it back. But if we want to face these creatures, humanity must become stronger. So I find Yun Yang and ask him for the martial art manuals. Yun Yang is naturally very willing. To thank him for his contributions to humanity, I've set up a portal here for better communication in the future. After that, it's time for me to head to the next location, the Portal Walker in Country H. A few days later, I arrive in Country H. I didn't expect the headquarters director to be there too. There's also an unknown woman here. According to the director, this woman seems to be Park Hyun, the representative of Busan. Her visit is related to the battle scheduled between Walker and Busan in 7 days. If it were just an ordinary battle, it would be fine, but traitors called. The Awakening Society has emerged as the new primary core. They have degenerated into something that is neither human nor monster. It seems they want me to intervene and take care of the Awakening Society. Even though I want to accept, these traitors aren't like the first core. After all, back then things had just started, and the most powerful boss was only level 8. And now, so much time has passed, the enemy will definitely have level 7s, and maybe more than one. However, against these traitors and invaders, I have no reason to refuse to help, so I resolutely accept. First things first, let's boost everyone's physical stats. After saying that, I take out those martial arts manuals. As long as they train with these, the strength of the Awakeners will improve massively. Secondly, finding people to help the person I'm looking for is Song Yun-gu. Upon hearing my request, Song Yun-gu accepts without even thinking. So the forces we can now gather include 200 awakened soldiers from the Joint Chiefs of Staff headquarters and 20 Awakeners including Song Yun-gu, James, who can modify machinery for everyone. The martial artist must be busy handling matters at the western border right now. We won't be able to talk about that until later. And finally, there are the 12 Knights of Camelot. This time I'll use all my upgrade stones to summon the remaining knights to increase our chances of success in this operation. 5 days before the battle, we hold a detailed meeting to set practical requirements and issue orders. My father and James get to work immediately. My father builds a fortress against enemy attacks, while James modifies the ship to fight the fishmen on the water. As for me, I return to Country B to invite the martial artists for help. Yun Yang accepts almost instantly, but I have one condition. We can't mobilize all the martial artists. Only a few of the most powerful fighters, including Yun Yang and Guang Ryong, should help. Right before leaving, Yun Yang suggests I duplicate his sect's treasure, the Cloud Light Sword. It gives me chills. Is this really okay? Yun Yang says it's fine. If this sword is given to someone who truly needs it, our chances will be much better. Hearing that, I can only agree. After all, I can't let his good intentions go to waste. Thank you for your hospitality. I'll definitely give this sword to the right person. As for the candidate, I immediately have someone in mind. It's my good brother Baek Mang-gu. With preparations complete, the day of the decisive battle arrives. Countless fishmen surge to the surface, all fierce and aggressive. However, these elite troops are all level 9. Any of the 12 knights can easily wipe them out. Plus, we have so many level 8 reinforcements. Soon, the fishmen are completely routed and flee in total chaos. What's going on? The fishmen are in full retreat. The lizardmen had 3 level 7s back then, and the western border also had several level 7 creatures, but this is all the strength they have. While I don't know what they're plotting, there's no escape from James's masterpiece. Yong-soo set a course directly for Walker, receiving the order. Yong-soo immediately propels this massive ship at full speed. After a while, we've been heading toward Walker for 2 hours, but besides the fleeing fishmen, we haven't run into any other monsters. Is this calm really normal? Is the enemy just baiting us? If this is all they've got, their tactics are terrible. A trap. Could I be wrong? Just as I'm thinking, the sound of a whale suddenly erupts from outside. The next second, a giant whale leaps toward the sky. It's clearly a grasshopper-level monster. If we let that reach Busan, it'll level everything. We have to stop it here. Right after, I immediately fire off I-beams. I thought it would be as tough as the grasshopper, but I was overthinking it. Few I-beams are enough to kill it instantly. Is this supposed to be a decoy tactic? It's way too weak. No, wait, I can't let my guard down. There will definitely be powerful level 7s on the way. But let them come, I'm ready under my watch. 10 minutes pass, and Yong-soo reminds me that we've arrived at Walker. It leaves me a bit stunned. How could we have crossed the sea so easily as the real army on the mainland? I can't let my guard down yet. The real battle starts now. To be safe, I send Mordred out invisible to gather intel. After a while, Mordred successfully infiltrates the enemy HQ. A giant salamander is severely chewing out its subordinates. Behind it, there is a massive fishman and a humanoid monster with a terrifying face. From their conversation, Mordred gets 3 clues. First, they unexpectedly deployed their entire force, even though I thought they still had higher-level reserves. Second, the humanoid monster called Branch Manager. I don't know its strength, but this guy can make the floating regional designation vanish. And also, what is this devilfish they said was locked up underground? They seem very afraid of it. Too many suspicious points. I won't overthink it. Let's see how it goes. Barely after I finish talking, Mordred pulls out a ring of keys. She got them from HQ, perfect for this so-called devilfish. We reach the prison and open the door with the keys. I originally thought the devilfish would be some ugly, menacing fishman, but in fact, he's just an ordinary human with no apparent danger, so we release him. The man we saved actively expresses his gratitude and removes his blindfold to introduce himself. My name is Stodage. I'm just an ordinary person, but the Awakening Society likes to call me the devilfish. Seriously, a devilfish. Shouldn't he be some overpowered monster? This seems a bit unreasonable to me. Stodage explains that instead of being afraid of him, they are more afraid of what's in the sea. My awakened power is sealing. I can designate a target and seal it within myself. The larger or heavier the target, the more severe the side effects are. I only learned this by sealing the devilfish. The devilfish is an extremely powerful monster, hands down the strongest of the rank 7s. But it attacks blindly, not distinguishing friend from foe, and its shell is incredibly tough. Normal attacks won't even scratch it. The only way was to seal it using my power. Many people participated in the operation with me. Everyone helped each other out, and we managed to seal the devilfish. But there were traitors on the team. As soon as I had sealed the devilfish, they took the chance to ambush me. But fearing that my death would set it free, they locked me in here, keeping me alive with daily IV drips. Thank you so much for saving me. I quickly waved my hand, saying I was only doing my job. Then I learned from him that this sealing ability has no usage limits. That makes things a lot easier. I found the perfect way to solve all our problems. It's to unleash the devilfish using his power. It can surely wipe out the fishmen here. After a moment, the system announces the death of the Walker representative. Then it's Stodage's turn to finish it. Despite his surprise, Stodage starts to act. He lifts his shirt. He wants to take off his shirt with some flair to impress everyone. But his shirt gets stuck on his head. But that doesn't matter. As everyone knows, cool is a vibe. As long as you feel cool, that's enough. So Stodage walks resolutely into the scarlet flames, then activates his power and seals the devilfish within himself. After sealing it, his body slumps, and he collapses to the ground. Losing all composure and cool, Yangtze rushes toward the noise, and sees me being indecent with a naked man in broad daylight. After my explanation, he recognizes him as an ally, and quickly helps him up. Preparing to return to subspace. At that moment, the system sends a message. The victory reward will be explained by the Country H branch of the High Council. Seeing this branch, I immediately think of Mordred's humanoid monster. Before I can think too much, a spherical barrier appears in front of us. Rather than a barrier, it's a building so perfect it's almost unsettling. Inside are 2 monsters of vastly different sizes. Without a word, the larger one devours a pile of magic stones and seems to enter a berserk state. This leaves me puzzled. Why keep fighting? And when the enemy provokes, how can I not strike back? 3 strikes from his holy spear precisely pierce its abdomen. It looks like it only got bigger. Its strength didn't increase. The branch manager's expression freezes slightly upon seeing this. You should know this is a rank 7 that he specifically bred with countless magic stones. He didn't expect it to fall so easily. In that case, the branch manager is abandoning this useless waste and is investing 14,000 magic stones in me instead. Actually, Country H was pretty good. My initial plan was to use it as a base to occupy the surrounding countries, but now Country A doesn't seem bad either. If you need magic stones, I can provide you with plenty more. However, I have one condition. As a victory reward, you'll get a portal to Walker. Once you have it, help me out, please. I'm shy and having my office exposed like this makes it hard to work. Perhaps the awakened architect of Country can help me rebuild the structure to cover the office. As soon as he finishes speaking even, the leader of the Awakening Society realizes that the branch manager intends to abandon them. So, he grabs his spear and strikes directly at the branch manager. But it's blocked by a green light. It looks like a repulsive force, but something feels weird. Even if the repulsive force is strong, there should be at least some basic impact force from the attack. Could this guy be higher than level 6? And exactly what is your level? The manager speaks with an indifferent tone. Level, the High Council doesn't have such a thing. You could say level 0, suddenly. Branch manager changes the subject. So do you accept the suggestion I just made? This counter question catches me off guard. It's clear that if I refuse, he alone could wipe us all out. But if I accept, we'll just be puppets like the Awakening Society. I can only ask him for some time to think. Seeing my hesitation, the branch manager continues. Beings with abilities, like yours, are countless across dimensions. That guy who sealed himself earlier also has abilities. Like yours, right? So even though I said I want to invest in, you don't test my patience. When he says that, my brain freezes. So he doesn't know just how overpowered my ability really is. They aren't omniscient after all. So I won't be their puppet. Sorry, but I refuse. Since everything is done, I'm heading out after this. I turn around and leave. This leaves the branch manager completely lost. Wait, what's going on? I invested in him to keep the office secrets from leaking, but he's totally closed off. I don't know if he's stupid or if he has another plan, but I just need to find a suitable guy and take him out secretly. Actually, I don't have any plan, and I'm not stupid. When I learned it was the High Council that was tormenting us, I wanted to face them head on. But this guy is too strong. Opposing him is just asking for trouble. Even if he offers to join forces, I'm not interested, because I don't want to become an invader or a puppet. I believe my ability will get stronger in the future. The best approach is to pretend to retreat. Speaking of retreating, an idea hits me. This branch manager managed this office from A to Z. What if I recalled him right now? No sooner said than done. The very next second, the entire office vanishes instantly. If I can't beat you, at least I can mess with you. It was incredible. The branch manager watches the scene in disbelief. In a flash, his head seems to get hit and just explodes. I'm stunned. What's happening? Should I not have saved this office? Is my head going to pop just like his? To check my doubts, I take a hesitant step outside. Everything seems normal. Well, anyway, things have come to an end. I'll think about it calmly later. And so the Walker portal incident concludes. Country H enters a brief period of peace. Stotage representing City K, and Country H returns to manage the situation. And it's time for me to explore this so-called branch office. At first glance, it looks completely ordinary. There are no documents, nothing like that, just a vast whiteness. I can't see anything. At that moment, Pax appears to me in a new form. Not only has her appearance changed, but she seems more human. Then Pax explains the 4 major functions of this office. The first is the message transmission system. It can only broadcast to qualified targets in the region, and the content drafting format is very restrictive. The second is the satellite observation system. Just like the first function, it can monitor locations that meet the regional requirements. The third is the holographic image adjustment system. It can modify or set up holographic images that are part of the visual system. The last one is the dimensional entity registration form. But your material level is currently too low. Level 7 is the highest you can apply for. Hearing that, my heart immediately starts racing. From now on, my subspace can not only observe, but also send messages and apply for levels. In other words, it's no longer just a processing center, but a full-blown logistics command center. Wait a minute, if I can send messages, I have a great idea. On the other side, Kim Yule is bored on the rampart, having no interest in killing enemies. It's not that she doesn't want to show off her skills, there just hasn't been an opportunity. Her knights aren't human? Wait, they are literally not human. They've killed all the invading fishmen. Suddenly, Yunyang shouts from below, "Incredible! Miss Kim, I didn't realize you were level 999. When did you reach that level?" Kim Yuli subconsciously looks back and sees the title, Level 999, number 1 under heaven. For some reason, she has a gut feeling that I'm the one who did it. And I returned right at that moment. What a coincidence. And I seem to sense an inexplicable murderous aura, and the source is coming straight from Kim Yuli. Luckily, I'm prepared and I pull out the level 7 registration form. But when Kim Yuli sees it, a new wave of anger rises. There are actually requirements, and this one is that the organization's membership must reach 50,000. Kim Yuli feels played, so my fate is predictable. Fortunately, Pax comes out to explain clearly it's a kind of organization. But how to recruit 50,000 people? That's another problem. Suddenly, a good method comes to mind. It involves using Pax's remote delivery service to deliver Yun Yang's Cloudy Light Sword. But it's now a perk for the Pax distribution center. Using this method, I quickly gather 10,000 people, but it's still far from enough. So we're going to Busan to set up a portal. This way we can expand the reconnaissance range of the subspace. The method is definitely solid, but the problem of overcrowding quickly arises. This kind of situation could easily lead to stampedes. Because of that, I plan to have the headquarters director lead the army to manage the portal. Hearing this, the director immediately gets hyped and accepts with almost no hesitation. Finally, my organization's membership reaches 40,000, just 10,000, short of level 7. But just as I'm soaking in the joy, a new problem pops up. A non-hostile dimensional entity has appeared. It looks like a squirrel, and as soon as it shows up, it puts on a pitiful and helpless face begging me to save it. He doesn't seem to have any hostile intentions, so I ask him, what happened? Seeing that I intend to help them, the squirrel seems to regain hope. After a quick exchange, I understand their situation. The dimension of the Manhwa tribe seems to have been destroyed by an invasion from other dimensions. Now they need shelter, I can relate. To that reason, just as Earth is being invaded by other dimensions, others have definitely suffered invasions too. If we can't stop the invasion, will we become refugees? Just like them wandering everywhere. Did you come to Earth all alone? The Manhwa replies, that's not the case. I originally had many companions, and I am their leader. After we arrived on Earth, we first settled in the mountains, but it wasn't safe because of my mistake. Many of my companions were devoured by monsters. The remaining companions should be hiding somewhere, after all. Their sense of smell is highly developed. The word smell catches my attention. Yes, our sense of smell is very sharp. Thanks to that, we can avoid monsters and stay hidden. For example, right now I can smell a goblin coming from the 3rd floor next door. I send Mordred to check it out immediately. A few minutes later, Mordred returns covered in blood with a goblin head in hand. Your talent is truly excellent, especially for tracking down enemies. It's basically a real-life super navigation system. There's no way around it. They have to join us after this. I reach out to them. I can't fully feel your grief for your fallen comrades, but we've also suffered massive losses due to an interdimensional invasion, so we are victims just like you. If you don't mind, why don't we try to get along? I can help you find your people. After these words, an organization invite appears before the Manhwa. The Manhwa accepts without hesitation. System notification. The representative of the Manhwa tribe requests to join the Pax Fulfillment Center. The representative of the Manhwa tribe, Sorain, counts 110.65 members. Seeing this insane number truly stuns me. With this many members, I'll be able to reach level 7 very soon. This is a major windfall. For now, I still don't know on a base of 40,000 people. Suddenly adding over 10,000 more means finding all those members to reach level 7. I then begin the long trek to find Sorain's companions. Soon, we reach a peak called Snow Crocodile Mountain. I know this mountain. The climbing difficulty is extremely high, but it doesn't matter. We have a helicopter. The helicopter takes off, but because of the poor landing conditions, we can only have Manhwa catch his companion's scent from the air. Unfortunately, the downwash from the chopper scatters the scent. In the end, we still can't avoid the fate of hiking up. To make the trip less boring, I invite Lancelot to join me. It's the perfect opportunity to learn more about my subordinate's past. Lancelot naturally agrees, but he reminds me that it's not a pleasant story. Vast plains and dense forests, along with treacherous mountains and deep seas, this dimension containing multiple ecosystems is called the Avalon Dimension. Because multiple species coexist, the inhabitants of Avalon learn the rules of survival under the constant threat of monsters. The core skills needed for survival are hunting and gathering. Even children who have just learned to speak wield hunting tools, showing their warrior nature. But as civilization grew, war broke out. The strength once used against monsters was eventually turned against their own kind for ridiculous power struggles. This civil war lasted for hundreds of years. When everyone was exhausted, a young knight appeared. He stopped this senseless war through peace and persuasion. The knight who championed love earned everyone's respect and was crowned king. The king's name was Arthur. Under his throne were 12 knights, known as the 12 Knights of Camelot. The swords of the Knights of Camelot no longer pointed at their own people, but became unshakable walls, protecting Avalon. This brought Avalon to its peak, until a portal suddenly appeared in the sky one day. It was the Dark Mages of Barnold. Their power was unbelievable. The king was killed, and the 12 knights were turned into artifacts. All the inhabitants of Avalon were cursed and turned into the undead. Learning this gives me mixed feelings. It's just too outrageous, an entire dimension destroyed in an instant. The Magarat taps, my face indicating he's found a companion. Right as he speaks, rustling noises come from the nearby bushes. Another chubby Magarat emerges from within. Serene bursts into tears of joy upon seeing him and gets choked up as he speaks. The Magarat tells him he knows where the other tribe members are. And so the word spreads from 1 to 10 and 10 to 100. We finally spend a week rounding up all the scattered members of the Magian tribe. Seeing the crowd of Magarats before me, I feel deeply moved. Even though this period was exhausting, it was all worth it. Then I set up another portal and tell the weary Magarat, as long as you stay near the portal, the monsters won't attack you. If you need anything, get it from inside. Hearing this, the Magarats thank me and promise to help us with all their might. And so the Magarat version of super navigation goes live. Their presence makes detecting invaders a breeze. The human counteroffensive begins. The monsters have nowhere left to run, nowhere left to hide. Right now, I'm calmly looking over the documents Pax organized for me. Everything seems stable, but why do I have this inexplicable feeling of unease? Right then Pax suddenly appears, saying he intercepted a document from the High Council. I totally saw this coming. Pax, open it up quick. Pax organizes the key info. Self-rescue plan for Country A and Country H of the Earth dimension. Due to a massive drop in revenue, they decided to merge with the ocean region. What does that even mean? Not a deal, but a merger. With which dimension? Are they merging by turning the page? This wall of text makes me want to quit immediately. Seriously, why are there so many words in one document? Pax, give me the TLDR version. Upon receiving the order, Pax instantly starts simplifying the content. In the meantime, I gather everyone to brainstorm some countermeasures. After confirming the High Council has 2 specific goals: increase national revenue and reduce the number of non-contractors, transfer the Elbanine continent to the ocean and force both sides into war. So we can't avoid war after all. At this moment, Big Sis is thinking about something. Wait, Jonghyun, things seem different. He's pushing both sides to war. Doesn't that mean the Elbanin aliens will be forced to invade? Hearing that, it suddenly hits me. Okay, if they're being invaded too. Just like us, can we clear up the misunderstanding and stop the war? Lancelot says that's true, but we need to make contact first, at least before the announcement is fully released. As soon as he's done talking, Pax signals that Elvine has already been moved into the ocean. Already moved. Then what are we waiting for? But what if they have different ideas? What if they're just primitive life forms we can't talk to? Crap. That's a problem too. We'll deal with that when it happens. A few hours later, binoculars in hand, I scan the other side of the ocean. I see 2 dirty kids touching the seawater with their hands. The water they touch becomes crystal clear, as if they're purifying it. They look like elves, just a bit messy, but they seem very kind. I think they feel the same way we do. Even though they look skinny as rails and unreliable, they should still be our allies. Anyway, let's show a little good faith here. I use my delivery skill and toss a package. The package comes to a halt in front of the 3 elves. At first, the elves think it's a challenge letter or something and get all worried. But looking closely, it's actually fresh vegetables. For these elves who've been hungry for so long, this is a total godsend. I was finally able to communicate with the people of Elbanane. I am Jongyum, representative of the Pax Fulfillment Center for Country A. Upon hearing the name of Country A, all 3 are stunned. Based on your reactions, you've already heard the announcement of the looming war. But don't worry, we have no intention of going to war with you. We came to tell you that all of this is the High Council's doing. Hearing this, the male elf's entire body trembles as he mumbles, "Non-stop. Exactly, looks like we've finally found some kindred spirits. I'll take you to negotiate with the head of the council, Eri. To speed up the trip, I ask Yong-Soo to drive us there quickly, so before long we reach our destination." Looking around, the elves here look dirty and small like old people, weak, sick, and disabled. Furthermore, the buildings are all old and run down. It's a particularly harmonious village. While I'm thinking, the male elf tells me we've arrived. I see a dilapidated cylindrical building in the middle of an endless meadow. A few scruffy-looking men are chatting inside. Are we not going to the capital to see the head of the council? This place is too The male elf explains, "This is the symbol of us elves, the Council of Galadorn. This crummy building is the council, so this remote backwater is the capital." Suddenly, a stern voice interrupts my thoughts. Based on their conversation, this elf must be the head of the council, Eerie. At that moment, Eerie also notices how awkward we are because of her recent behavior. Despite the awkwardness, we still need to talk business. I thought she would be very cooperative, but Eerie flat out refuses. "We neither communicate with nor invade anyone, but remember, whoever attacks Elbanine, no matter who they are, must die." Those words stun me. I'm thinking to myself, they're all old and weak, so why so much arrogance? You're not only confident, but also acting very high and mighty. Seeing the council head being so rude, Lancelot draws his sword with determination, demanding an apology from Eerie. I'm low-key digging Lancelot's vibe right now. He said exactly what I wanted to say. But in the next instant, the elf flashes in front of Lancelot and firmly forces his head down. I've heard that humans live for 100 years. 100 years for us elves is barely past reaching adulthood. A long life also means living through many years across multiple dimensions. During those long years, we fought for our very survival. So most elves have reached rank 6. Actually, like this old elf, most have reached rank 5. Someone claiming to be for peace draws a sword on me and demands an apology. I've seen too many liars like you. Now, it's my turn to give you a chance. Submit and apologize. You're going way too far. He just drew his sword. And you treat him like this, talking about submitting. Is this a joke? Fine, what's so hard about it? I'm sorry. Let Lancelot go, please. To make my apology seem sincere enough, I deliberately do a headstand kowtow. Only then does the council head Eerie release Lancelot. Back to the point, we will not invade anyone, but whoever approaches us, no matter who they are, will be considered an invader. Got it. I'm speechless. You're way too closed off. It's not being closed off. Not invading other dimensions should be enough to make you grateful. What's wrong with wanting to wait for death in peace? It leaves me puzzled. Do you really think waiting for death is better than being helped? It's just your pride. You should give in. This is such a great opportunity. Why? In the middle of my sentence, Eerie glares at me, her eyes full of killing intent. That makes me lower my tone immediately. Why did I have to open my stupid mouth? Seeing that I sincerely want to help, Eerie sighs helplessly. I really don't feel like explaining myself. Just come with me. With that, she turns and leaves without giving me a second to think. Damn, what's her deal? She's not going to kidnap me, lock me up, or torture me, is she? I hope not. I can't think like that. If there's danger, I'll just duck into subspace and bolt in my plane. But after seeing the elves' training, my escape plan completely flies out the window. The council chief, Eerie, says calmly. She's too slow, her level just isn't cutting it. So she's training on her own. Are you kidding me? This level still isn't good enough. I get it now. Even if you're stuck in a tiger's den, staying sharp only leads to a sharp death. I'd better keep it together for a few minutes. Then Harry stops signaling our arrival. I see a tree emitting a green light. No, it's a sapling trying its best to stand tall. It's the world tree. It has sustained us, allowing us to live on this continent. Damn, it was once a massive, towering, and beautiful tree, but a long, long time ago, it gradually shrank back then after a certain dimension, defeated us. After that defeat, not just us, but the whole continent was cursed. Thanks to the fierce resistance of the world tree, we have survived, until now. After speaking, Eerie gets lost in her thoughts. I instinctively asked who did it, hearing that Eerie gives a look of pure disdain. Your level is so low. What's the point in telling you? It makes me feel hopeless. I quickly say that I can try to help in other ways. Fine, it won't hurt to tell you. There's no harm in it anyway. It was the dark image of Barnell. That statement stuns me instantly. I remember Barnold. Isn't that what Lancelot mentioned? This place has also suffered from dark magic. Why would they do that? Thinking about it, a green orb pops out of nowhere in Eerie's palm. It's the force of nature. Barnold is absolutely terrified of the force of nature, radiating from the world tree and the power of the elves who control it. I don't know if you're aware, but some elves are born with this power. They have horns on their heads and are called high elves to form a bond. I lie and say I've seen them. Where have you seen them? Most died at the hands of dark mages, though some are still alive for real. I knew I was right, but they disappeared. During the transfer, damn it. Why won't she just say everything? All at once. Sorry, I think I got it wrong. Pause. All right, here's the situation. Pause. You should understand everything now, but please leave. Pause. Before you go, I'm taking a look at the world tree, wondering if a world tree can actually withstand the curse. So if I replicate it, won't that solve the whole curse problem? Hold on, the pack says there's no such category yet. The Realization Center has plants. I'm trying, but as expected, they don't stand a chance against the world tree. My only option is to upgrade the subspace. A level 5 subspace can already house the High Council. If it reaches level 6, it should be able to classify the world tree. Upgrading to level 6 requires 100,000 magic stones. I currently have 68,330 and 1 magic stone. I'm still short over 30,000. While I'm thinking, Eri has already brought me back to the square and tells me to go back alone on this. As she's leaving, I ask her to wait a second. Then I summon massive amounts of vegetables and fruits from the subspace. Eri is absolutely stunned by the sight. Don't feel pressured, just enjoy it. It's a gift. I'll be back soon. Just as I was about to enter the subspace, Stodge approaches, and after a friendly greeting, Stodge says that most of the fishmen have been neutralized. Only one octopus, a real piece of work with a portal core, escaped into the sea. Its attack range has a radius of 800 miles. Mine is only 500 meters. This is getting really tricky now. I need someone with a long-range attack. The only one who can pull it off is the elf behind me. Well, since you accepted this meal, I'd also like to ask you for a favor. Eri scoffs, saying she'd never help even if her life depended on it. In the end, I offer to double the food. Only then does Eri agree to head out to sea with me. I see Eri tie back her hair, grab a bow and arrow, and draw it back to full strength. She lets it fly. The arrow cuts through the air with a whistle. A split second later, she hits it dead on. That is absolutely insane. While I'm glad the monster was taken out in one shot, where is the portal heart? How am I supposed to collect 100,000 of them now? No magic stones means no upgrade, and no replicating the world tree. Should I secretly go back and save up magic stones, then come back on this down low? Nah, that won't work. She'll do everything she can to turn me down. Then Eri glares at me and says, as we agreed, I killed the monster, now hurry up and give me the food. I say, no problem. But can you give me the magic stone you just got? Eri looks disdainful and full of doubt. Why do you want that when you're offering so much food? In return, it's way too calculated. It would be weird if you didn't have an agenda. At those words, I break into a cold sweat. I wanted to make up an excuse, but that would just make her more suspicious. In this case, honesty is the best policy. Packs deliver fresh vegetables non-stop until I say stop. Order received. Pax quickly delivers food from big watermelons to small grapes. Now I'm going to tell you the truth. My power is to replicate infinitely any object from the subspace. I'll store the world tree in there, then make one for you. I know it's hard to believe, so I'll open the subspace to show you. Eri stares at the food appearing in abundance. Then let me see. I've got all the time in the world anyway, and so under Eri's gaze, Max keeps delivering until the food piles up like a mountain. Now you should believe me, right? My subspace can replicate things infinitely, though I don't know if it can produce them forever. The quantity is massive. But how can I be sure you'll give the world tree back? After taking it, I try to reassure Eri. After all, the world tree is just a sapling to me. Eri becomes even more suspicious. If it's just a simple sapling to you, then why go to all this trouble to help us? I hesitate for 2.5 seconds before speaking slowly. Well, I have to say I find you all a bit pitiful. As soon as I say that, Eri freezes. You go from meal to meal barely eating anything, and whether they are children or adults, everyone is pale and emaciated. You all look so miserable. I want to help you. And if we're being honest, wouldn't you do the same if you plundered other dimensions? You wouldn't be hungry, but why don't you do it while talking? Eri remembers something. A long time ago, the Grandpa Chief often spoke to her about 2 things: coexistence and mutual prosperity. We don't reject competition, nor do we claim we must be friendly with everyone. Competition can drive development and prosperity, but the kind aimed at destruction can't get you there. You need coexistence and mutual prosperity. What you're holding isn't just an item, it's also friendship. Lend a hand when others are in need, and come together when people want to help you. As these thoughts resurface, Eri looks at me calmly, speaking with gravity, then she turns her head. Jong-hun, if we ever have to search the world for the elf waters, please help us. Hearing this, I'm a bit stunned, although I have no idea what changed her mind, but it works for me, no problem at all. Then Eri transfers all the magic stones she got to my subspace account. Completed. It's upgrade. In that case, let's start delivering world trees. As soon as I finish speaking, 2 large boxes are parachuted down from the sky, containing potted world trees. All the elves began to cry for joy, while on the other side, the 12 knights who were planting the trees as soon as they touched the world trees, their whole bodies started to itch. The scene looks somewhat familiar. Isn't it just like what happened in the subspace? That time, just as I'm about to say we should head back to Camelot first, an elderly hand stops me. It's the old man from the council. The old man tells me not to panic. Then with lightning speed, he taps each knight on the head. Once he's done, Lancelot, and the others say their bodies don't itch anymore. That really surprises me, by the way. There are high elves, right? Doesn't that mean they're on the same level as that fly monster I saw in Country B? But you can't tell at all from their looks. All the power in the world will never concentrate in just one place. Nature will also change based on our actions. So even within the laws of nature, which are constantly evolving, there must be a way to bring them back to their original state. With that, he turned around and vanished. What I heard leaves me puzzled, but thinking about it, this elder might know a way to restore Lancelot and the others, so I ask him to tell me more. The elder hides nothing, and says frankly that two things are needed. One is the power of nature, capable of overwhelming dark magic, and the high elves who master it. As for the high elves, there is a candidate, but I don't know if he's dead or alive. As for the force of nature, letting the current world tree grow for 150 years might be enough. As soon as he says that, I wonder if my ears are working right. The elder continues, there is another method to speed it up, repeated injury, and healing. However, the world tree is quite robust, so ordinary attacks are practically useless. Weight injury, and healing doesn't seem that hard. Isn't Camilo an artifact that absorbs life force? I act immediately. I bring several world trees to Camilo, and there Camilo absorbs the life energy and mass produces upgrade stones. This is totally awesome. No more worrying about upgrade stones, so let's just upgrade some gear. Let's try the Sacred Spear of Laquise first. Upgrade. Failed. Missing Rances tier upgrade stone. What's that Rances upgrade stone? What even is that? Opening my inventory. I see that all my upgrade stones are Rances tier. How do I make the Rances ones to find out? I'll go see. Ari the expert. Ari says all I need to do is find some dwarves. Dwarves can process Rances upgrade stones. Hearing that, I let out a helpless sigh. I'd love to find dwarves too, but where on earth even are the dwarves? Hearing me say that Ari reminds me that Earth should already have them. After all, it's not just a single dimension being integrated this time. That's mind-blowing, but since they're out there, I'll just leave it to chance, no big deal. It's time to visit Country F, which is also James's homeland. So I meet with the branch director. The director says Country F is very dangerous, especially by sea. As soon as a plane approaches, it gets attacked by unknown creatures. Monster attacks. I'm not worried at all. The plane James modified should pass through easily. I thought James would agree quickly, but he says he wants to stay put in the country. That is unexpected. Going home should be everyone's wish. But why did James give up? So fast, James, didn't you say you wanted to go back to Country F? I'm not a god modifying. The plane takes too much time, maybe longer than just crossing the ocean. Secondly, my plan is to upgrade a warship. Cross by boat is more appropriate. The Earth's crust has shifted, also causing climate changes. Traveling by ship would be more dangerous. I say it's fine. If there's danger, I'll just hide in the subspace. If you're worried, I'll have bodyguards. That's right, my bodyguards are Big Sister and the powerful Ari. A few hours later, we get ready to set sail. I wanted Big Sister and Ari to stay inside out of the wind because the director had warned about erratic weather. But they refuse. I'm helpless. I can only let them have their way. After sailing for a while, the weather suddenly shifts. One moment, it's calm. The next moment, violent winds are howling. Seeing this, I tell them to get inside immediately, but they still refuse. I'm stunned, but whatever this level of attack can't hurt them. I'd better get some rest. The next day, the weather is calm again. The sun shines on the deck. Everything seems so peaceful, but those two on the deck shatter that beauty. After a night of brawling, they're covered in various seafood. These two must have a screw loose. Do they want to be pirate kings? Entering the cabin, Yongsu tells me that we're almost there. It surprises me. The week-long trip was cut down to a single night. Must be affected by the dimensional merge. Though a bit worried, we nonetheless arrived safe and sound in Country F. Yongsu goes back to rest, since he sailed all night. Before leaving, he says this is Port. It's the exact opposite of James's hometown. As for the city, we don't understand Country F's situation yet, so we must be careful in how we act. Then I slowly say to the two beside me, this time we have to take it slow. Gather info along the way and keep a low profile. As I'm talking, the fishy smell next to me becomes unbearable. Wait, from now on, I'll go solo. As soon as I say that, Big Sister's expression changes radically. She warns me in a threatening tone to think twice before speaking. That statement makes my blood run cold. Helpless. I can only walk back my words, telling them to change clothes before heading out. While they're changing, I stroll through this dilapidated town. The desolate environment and the quiet atmosphere give me involuntary shivers. Soon some wall posters catch my eye. They look like newspapers, but seem very old. They mostly seem to talk about battles between regions. Aside from war, there doesn't seem to be anything else. Suddenly, a half-torn newspaper appears in front of me. It clearly indicates that City G has a mine, and that it's right next to Port. I could explore there. As soon as I confirm the info, Big Sister and the others come out after changing. Big Sister is in athletic gear while Eri is wearing a light breezy outfit. I really want to say no, but I'm afraid Big Sister will hit me, so I just have to let it go. Then the three of us hop into a 4x4 and quickly head for the village to find the mine. Along the way, we find a tavern. It looks clean, so there should be some people there. We go out to gather information. Who would have thought that as soon as we pushed the door open, a group of fierce men would stare at us in unison? Their gaze makes us uncomfortable. The naive Ariel, and I can still tolerate it. But Big Sister, usually so proud, can't stand it. She lashes out at them with a series of rebukes. An old man nearby sees the arrogance of the newcomers and is already resting his hand on the pistol at his belt. Just as he's about to fire, a stranger interrupts him. The man immediately greets us warmly. I'm Park Dong-gwan. I'm a bit confused, but out of politeness I reply, I'm Young-yul. The man invites us to sit down and have a drink. I don't think much of it. As soon as we sit, the man quietly tells us not to provoke them. They have upgraded bullets that even ignore tears, and tell your companions not to dress so revealingly or something might happen. I'm a bit dazed. Before I can say a word, a man with a revolver walks slowly toward us. He even puts his dirty hand on Big Sister's shoulder. He even uses his gun to stroke Big Sister's firm chest, talking provocatively and insulting her. 1 second, Big Sister is still calm, but the next second her expression changes drastically, and a killing intent surges from her body. Then she clenches her fist, gathering all her strength, and strikes. The man doesn't even have time to react before being sent flying through the roof. I palm my forehead, feeling helpless. I knew this would happen. Now, we have to bounce. After saying goodbye to Park Dong-gwan, I grab the two of them without hesitation and evacuate quickly before anyone can react. At that moment, Park Dong-gwan looks at the hole in the ceiling, lost in thought. If it's them, maybe they can actually pull it off. Without thinking twice, Park Dong-gwan chases after us with determination and stops us just as we're leaving. You're going to the mine, aren't you? I can guide you, but listen to me before you decide to go. I'm a bit confused, but I tell him to talk while we walk. A few days ago, Park Dong-gwan and his friend Gordon arrived at a mine that appeared suddenly. Besides them, lots of people were already lining up to get in. After a long exploration, they eventually found some dwarves. After greeting each other, the dwarves warmly invited the humans to freely mine upgrade stones there. But the dwarves underestimated human greed. Even though those upgrade stones were infinite, people were fighting over territory. They even turned their aggression toward the kind dwarves. Human greed made them lose their minds. They shot and killed dwarves. When Park Dong-gwan and Gordon saw things going south and wanted to back out, it was too late. A goblin, after devouring human flesh and blood, along with upgrade stones, became extraordinarily strong. Park Dong-gwan and Gordon fled in a panic. With the exit in sight, Park Dong-gwan told Gordon to push through, but it was too late. Park Dong-gwan escaped, but Gordon was caught. Since then, no one has entered or left. The story ends at the entrance of the mine. Park Dong-gwan wants to go in with us, of course. I agree. After all, having a guide will make our journey through the mine much easier. It is indeed just as Park Dong-gwan said. The scene is pretty gruesome, with severed limbs everywhere. Soon, we arrive at some stairs made of planks and rope. It looks winding, but for my navigation skills, it's a piece of cake. Suddenly, Sorin sniffs an unknown scent, large body, very fast, not human. Since it's not human, I don't hold back. I unleash the sacred spear of Laquise. The expected instant death doesn't happen, but the sacred spear is deflected by a tough hide. What the hell here is? The holy spear flying at 500 kilometers per hour. With my attack failing, Eri starts cracking her knuckles. The moment she condenses the force of nature into her fist, the monster's roar fades into the distance. It seems spooked by the storm. Eri and Soren turn around and ask if we should give chase. I say that won't be necessary. Hunting isn't our objective right now. We move on. After a few steps, Soren sniffs a strange scent. A mix of sweat and blood, but it's a living person. Without a second thought, we sprint in the direction Soren points. Shortly after, we find a dwarf lying on the ground, gasping, barely alive. He seems badly hurt, definitely attacked by a monster. I want to take him to the subspace for Big Sister to heal him, but Soren warns that something is coming. Again, it makes me hesitate. Didn't we just scare it off? Why is it back? Eri's face is stone cold. She offers to take care of it. Since she's so in tune with nature, what I hate most is seeing good people get hurt. Fine. The monster charges at us at full speed. Its look says it's going to totally wreck us. But what it runs into is a fist glowing with green light. It's a casual punch from Eri packed with the force of nature. Even though it's just a simple hit, it's enough to easily kill this monster. Instantly after dealing with the monster, I transport the dwarf to the subspace and ask Big Sister to treat him. After a long while, the dwarf regains consciousness and wakes up, with a jolt from his nightmare. Seeing the unfamiliar surroundings and the humans before him, he immediately panics. It's only after I explain things that the dwarf calms down. Then we find out from the dwarf that he's the only dwarf who survived in the mine. But there are two monsters. One was a transformed goblin, and the other is Gordon. As soon as he says that Park Dong-wan is shell-shocked, the dwarf explains that day after Gordon was dragged back into the mine, I used some upgrade stones as bait to distract the monster. I took the chance to save Gordon and brought him to where we dwarves keep the upgrade stones. I thought we could wait for a rescue, but days passed. Outside, the monster was still roaring away, and we were running low on ammo and food to keep us from starving to death. Gordon decided to sacrifice himself by ingesting the upgrade stones to turn into a monster and buy me enough time to escape. I thought Gordon was just joking, but his expression was unusually calm, even resolute. No matter how hard I tried to talk him out of it, Gordon remained unfazed, saying only one thing: I was already dead. Back then, you didn't need to feel burdened. At that time, I just wanted to leave with my family. But someone cowardly stopped me, Park Dong-wan, my best friend. I didn't want him to regret saving me. I feel guilty. But I miss my family. It's time to choose. This is my only selfish wish. So please. Hearing him say that, I knew trying to persuade him was pointless. So I decided to help my friend one last time. I had to get a hammer and crush the upgrade stones into powder. After that, under my friend's gaze, I opened the door and stepped out, and Gordon began to swallow the upgrade stones. Everything seemed careful, but I missed one detail. The monster heard the hammering. Luckily, Gordon, having turned into a monster, showed up in time and subdued the other monster, but by then he had lost his mind. After that, I was clawed and left barely alive. Finally, you found me and brought me to the subspace for treatment. Upon hearing the dwarf's story, Park Dong-wan's face is full of disbelief, his heart heavy with guilt. The dwarf continues, even though Gordon became a monster to take out the other monster, he doesn't want to keep living like a monster, so please let him rest in peace. Anything I can do, I will help you with all my might. That catches my attention. I actively ask if he can process high-rank upgrade stones. The dwarf brogue says high-rank upgrade stones require 10 high-rank stones of the same attribute to be synthesized. Although I have countless upgrade stones, maybe because they all come from Camelot, I don't have any with divine attributes. Simply put, I can't upgrade the sacred spear of Longinus, so I can only upgrade the firearms and bullets. My first choice is a handgun that's easy to carry and packs a punch against a target. I immediately start simulating the upgrade, but unfortunately, I'm low on endurance stones, so I can only upgrade it to +3, which can withstand +4 bullet. But it doesn't matter anyway. Firearms and ammo are infinite. While I'm upgrading Park, Dong-wan finds me saying he wants to say goodbye to his friend one last time. I wanted to say it's too dangerous, but seeing his resolute attitude, I swallow my words in an instant. The three of us plus a rathead outside. Gordon senses our presence and charges at us, Park Dong-wan. With tears in his eyes, takes the pistol I upgraded and aims. He fires a shot whispering, "Rest in peace, my friend." Gordon is killed on the spot, transforming into an upgrade stone that radiates a brilliant light. After that, we set up a grave for Gordon. It's in the cemetery near the mine. Back at the mine, Brooke holds the upgrade stone that Gordon dropped and says this is a domination stone. It's a stone that can command guardians. As soon as the master stone is activated, stone statues suddenly appear. So these are the guardians. They are absolutely massive. Plus, there are plenty of magic stones nearby. If people find them later, war will be inevitable. Exactly. This is the High Council's method. Sow discord and make them kill each other. In the meantime, Brooke hands me the Guardian Domination Stone, telling me to give an order. Despite my confusion, I take it and order them to go outside the mine and hunt monsters. The Guardians tremble for a second, then freeze. Looks like something's broken. Brooke explains that the Guardians can only function inside the mine, so they probably can't execute that order. So they're just for show then. Might as well take the magic stones. When the magic stones are mentioned, Park Dong-wan approaches and says he has no intention of claiming any rewards from this mine. He'll let me handle everything. I'm stunned. His reason is just being able to accompany his friend. One last time is enough, and if I take any rewards, it would insult my friend's sacrifice. Seeing his resolute attitude, I don't plan on saying no. I summon packs to start gathering magic stones. The total surprisingly hits over 100,000. What an insane number. I didn't expect to recover the magic stones spent on upgrading the subspace so easily. Faced with this man who values friendship so much, I extend an olive branch. I invite him to join the Pack's Achievement Center to co-manage this mine. Park Dong-wan looks stunned, his mind seemingly unable to process it. I don't force him. Instead, I bring him back into the subspace. and tempt him with food. Park Dong-won takes a bite and can't hold back anymore. A simple bowl of noodles reminds him of the hardships he shared with Gordon. The tears start pouring out.